Power Project crew, what's going down? Hope you guys are surviving this quarantine as safe and healthy as possible. We have a couple of things for you guys specifically in regards to what's going on right now, so stay tuned for that. But it's really cool. We're finally back in Sacramento. Yesterday's episode was the last episode we recorded down in Columbus, Ohio. So it's really good to finally get these episodes out that we recorded, starting with our boy, Remington James. Remington instantly became one of our favorite gym bros of all time. And when I say gym bro, I definitely do not mean that in a negative way. This dude is awesome. Remington has a YouTube channel, Remington James Fitness. So he's a fitness YouTuber, but he makes a bunch of like bodybuilding type recipes, the if it fits your macros type of stuff. And when I was doing my cut last year, towards the end of the year, I leaned on a bunch of his recipes to help get me through it all. What really made this connection, though, was Rem did a bit of a carnivore challenge. And I think he was mainly doing it just to have content for his YouTube channel. But what ended up happening was he actually started feeling better than he ever has before on any other diet. So he decided, you know what, I'm just going to stick with it. On top of all that, Rem is actually a rapper. He just dropped his second album. And on the podcast, Mark had asked, like, hey, is it cool if we, play some of your music? So he actually sent us a couple samples. And if you're interested in that, please make sure you stay tuned to the very end of the podcast where we're actually going to go ahead and give a sample, which is really cool because that's the first time we've ever done this on the podcast. So thanks, Rem, for allowing us to use some of your music to pump out on our feed. Of course, if you guys are interested in finding out more information on Rem or his album, please make sure you check the YouTube description and, of course, the iTunes show notes. But like I said earlier, we're going to try to help everyone out that's stuck in quarantine, stuck in self-isolation, social distancing, all that stuff. Really what it comes down to is everyone's gym got shut down for the time being, and that really sucks because a lot of us use the gym as an outlet, to kind of be a stress reliever or just to overall make us feel better and obviously get more jacked. So what Mark decided to do was he is giving 20% off any and all Slingshot and hip circle combos. So you can add any slingshot you want, any hip circle you want, and you're going to get 20% off that order. Along with that, Mark is actually giving everybody 30 days free of markbell.com. And not only will there be workouts that you can do with the hip circle and the slingshot by itself, but Jesse Burdick actually just wrote out a whole program that you can do with just body weight only. And of course, so like I said, markbell.com, free for 30 days. Just go sign up right now. You just have to, put in your email address. And markbellslingshot.com, you can add a slingshot and a hip circle and you'll receive 20% off. A huge thanks to Piedmontese for sponsoring this episode. Like I said earlier, we linked up with Rem specifically because of the Carnivore Diet. So that's really what brought us together. And if you guys, seriously, you guys know we talk about it all the time, but it's the absolute best beef in the universe. Piedmontese beef is second to none. It's more tender, it's juicy, it cooks faster, has more protein, less fat. It really doesn't make any sense, but somehow they've been able to accomplish this. If you guys are interested, you need to head over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your order. And if your order is $99 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Again, we had so much fun with our boy Remington. We really think you guys are going to dig him too. I mean, he's open about his steroid use. He's hilarious. He has that southern accent. He really we just all gelled perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of your way. Please make sure you guys hit up Rem on social media. Links will be down in the description and the iTunes show notes. Again, along with links to his new album and his YouTube channel. But for now, please enjoy the show.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. No.
You didn't know? Whoa! What is that? Oh, ooh. Static. That's from your jacket. That's crazy.
Was it just lighting up?
Yeah.
I'm so staticky. It's crazy. Like when we were in Ohio, because it's like cold and dry and stuff. Mm-hmm. When I went to move my blankets, I kept getting like electrocuted.
Really?
Yeah, in my bed. I was like, what the hell's going on here?
Dude,
I was like snapping and popping. I'm like, I'm going to like light on fire from this thing.
Shit.
I don't know what was going on.
Well, we almost did burn that place down.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the fire alarm.
Yeah, you took all the hot water.
I was trying to wake everybody up.
I had to take a cold shower that morning.
Oh,
I was so mad at you and Smokey the first night because I didn't know which one of you guys took a long shower. And then I went in. Yeah, and then I went in and I was like, fuck, it's cold.
You know what's the worst part is I just assumed everybody already went because I think I felt like I woke up a little bit late.
Yeah.
I was like, everybody probably already went. And I turned the shower on to get it like hot. And then I had to poop. And I was like, should I turn it back off? And I was like, I'll just leave it on. How long is this poop going to really take? And it took way longer than expected.
Yeah. And then as far as static goes, dude, like whenever I would move around in the bed, I would just see sparks flying in the dark.
I was seeing, yeah.
I'm like, this is amazing. But also, what's happening here?
Yeah, y'all are weird. I didn't get shocked one time in bed.
That's when you got to send your girl a video. You're like, look at these sparks flying, huh? I'm like, I still got it.
Still got it.
That's how she knows.
Yeah. So we had some amazing steak at some amazing steakhouses.
It wasn't bad.
It was really good.
Really good.
It was weird that Nsima kept returning his stuff. He kept sending it back. He's like, this is not satisfactory.
You know, sometimes you just got to teach these people a lesson. If they don't make it rare enough.
He's like, stuff's so much better in Nigeria. It's like, what's wrong with you people? Very insulting.
Do they got Piedmontese beef in Nigeria yet?
No. We just got jacked people. That's all.
Well,
that's eating all those. That's eating all those goats.
Smokey will say something else.
What's that show? 90 Day Fiance? I think that's
we
or something
can't look
like that.
at 90 Day Fiance to look at the jacked Nigerians. That's not the show
Cheers.
to look at.
There you go.
Bing. Mind bullet.
Ciao. Both cracked open a mind bullet potion. Prost. They both took a shot. And
pro tip, everybody. Drink the whole thing. If you've never taken it before.
Yeah, I can't even joke around. I was going to say, empty stomach, just go for it.
Hey, it's good stuff, though. I fucking love it. Makes me all happy.
Yeah.
Mindbullet.com.
There you go.
I cooked up some of that Piedmontese yesterday. Ask me which cut it was.
I'm going to say it was the center cut ribeye.
Hey, that's pretty good. It was just the regular boneless ribeye.
Okay.
And it was amazing.
It's so good. I made the center cut ribeye last night.
This morning, woke up and I was just thinking about that ribeye, and I was like, all right, I'm going to do another ribeye. So I pulled it out of the freezer. I put it on the counter. It's defrosting. When I get home later today, that's what I'm going to be reaching for.
Nice.
Dude, I put the New York strip in the air fryer yesterday. I just had it sit in there for 10 minutes, and I was just like, fuck it, I'm going to go do some other stuff. So it just sat there after it was cooking at 360 for 10. Came back, ate. It was like literally perfect, but it cooked so fucking quickly. Yeah,
they cook fast. I ended up just putting it at 310, I think, for 15 minutes.
You're air fryer, and you're on the grill.
So lately, I've been doing air fryer. And so like I used to talk. I mean, I still will say that the smoker's way better than the air fryer. But that's because when I was cooking on the air fryer, I was using like big box store meats, and it just it needed so much more work. With Piedmontese steaks, like it's so damn good. Like it doesn't make any damn sense.
Yes.
You guys messing with that seasoned salt? What are you throwing on your steaks? Just regular salt?
Just
pink Himalayan
salt. Yeah, lots of it though.
Yeah, I threw some of that Redmond seasoned salt on there yesterday. It was really good.
I need to get some of that.
I don't like people that put a lot of Mike Lowry's all over their steak.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just like, hey, you're kind of killing the whole point here.
Orangey stuff or whatever.
Yeah, not a fan.
That's weird.
It's too much.
It has like sugar in it or something too, I think.
No me gusta. But what I am a fan of is Piedmontese steaks. And it was really cool seeing their banner out at the Arnold that never happened. But I know it's a bummer. However, they're still our homies. They're still best beef in the universe. If you guys want to check this stuff out, head over to Piedmontese.com. That's Piedmontese.com. At checkout, enter promo code Power Project for 25% off your order. And if your order is $99 or more, you get free 2-day shipping. Feels good to be home, y'all.
It does.
It feels great.
One more thing I wanted to say about beef, especially from cows,
Beefus,
is that or like bison and lamb. There's other ruminant animals, but people ask, on a carnivore diet, can I eat chicken and can I eat this? Can I eat that? And you could eat whatever you'd like. You know, as long as it falls into the meat category, comes from an animal, you're pretty much good to go. But just something to know about ruminant animals, it ends up working out perfectly because they have multiple chambers, especially a cow. I don't know all of the information about it, but they have like 4 chambers. And because they have those chambers, they turn grass into very highly bioavailable vitamins and minerals for us. And a lot of other foods, we don't have access to that. You know, if you eat kale or spinach, they may have some great benefit, but the research shows that you might only get like 1% of the vitamins from there because you can't extract it all because our body just doesn't digest it that well. Maybe there's other things going on that we don't know about that are beneficial for vegetables. I don't really know. I'm not going to say vegetables are bad. I don't have a problem with vegetables, but meat definitely has a lot more stuff readily available to you. And it's just something that everybody should know, especially from ruminant animals. So can you have other meat on a carnivore diet? You sure can, but it's just not going to have the vitamins and minerals because cows are designed to provide us with that, in my opinion.
I like it. And then after hanging out with Stan, it was like, oh, I got to start eating more steak again.
Oh yeah, the rhino. That guy's still jacked.
He's still jacked. Still brilliant.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that yeah.
Just more steak?
No, I'm just happy that you're going to be eating more steak.
Oh,
now.
gotcha. Yeah. I mean, you know, I had a lot of success with chicken and rice as, you know, it's a bodybuilding staple, right? At this point, like it's kind of like when you think of bodybuilding diet, you think chicken and rice all day long and then maybe broccoli, although I didn't do that. I was successful with it. So I'm like, oh, I'm just going to keep this party rolling. And then I don't know, man, it's time for a little change here.
Yeah.
And then also, again, talking to Stan, it's like, all right, man, there's so much more benefits to eating real steak and real meats, real, you know, cow meats, like Mark was just talking about. I can't ignore it anymore. I can't deny it.
I think my dog, you know, would eat almost anything. You know, she's super curious about any kind of food, but I really don't think she would care that much if I had like a plate of broccoli. And if she took a snip of broccoli, I don't think she would continue to care that much. She goes crazy, absolutely crazy. When I have meat, she goes crazy. Even when we give her her own food, which is still like meat based, we try to get like the healthiest choice. I haven't been able to convert my wife over to just being like, hey, let's just freaking give her just meat flat out. But even with her own food, she's not as excited. But if I have a plate of meat or eggs or something like that, she's like doing backflips. I think she just knows. She's like, she just inherently knows that there's that it's a nutrient dense food. She's like, I want some of that.
I've never seen a dog that fucks with greens unless like the owner is trying to really make them eat a green diet.
Yeah.
Every now and again we'll like we have like the baby carrots. Our dogs love those, but I mean,
and fruit
compared to a chunk of meat though, they're gonna go nuts.
Yeah, they might eat some berries or something like that. And I think I've heard that dogs will sometimes like eat grass just out of necessity because they're not getting like the vitamins and minerals they need from other stuff. So those little things are so smart that they're just like, hey, like my owner's not giving me what I need, so I'm just gonna eat this grass. They don't digest grass very well is the problem.
Yeah.
But it will still have some of the nutrients that they need.
Yeah, when my dogs, like their stomach, like you can actually like hear like their stomach's kind of like bubbling up a little bit.
Kind of like mine. It's trying to get on the podcast.
Yeah. So what they'll actually go out back and start chewing on some grass, and you're like, no, because you're just gonna puke it all up. But you're right, they do know what the heck they need.
What's the dog whisperer's name? We need to have the guy on the show.
Caesar Milan.
What's his name?
Caesar Mulan.
You knew that super fast. You watch that show?
No, just we were talking about it the other day.
Okay.
And we do got to get that guy.
Have any of you guys ever tried elk meat, by the way? I haven't. I'm just curious.
Yet. I have.
I want to.
Yeah.
How is it?
It's really good. Have you ever had like venison, which is like deer? You ever have deer before?
Never had deer.
I think it's a lot better than like deer meat. Like it has a little bit more fat, but you know, as Joe Rogan kind of explains, like elk they're just beautiful animals. They're fucking jacked. You know, they're in really good shape, and I enjoy it. I like it quite a bit. I think when it comes to any of these meats, any of these kind of game meats, it really helps a lot to have some knowledge of how to cook some of these things, and sometimes smoking the meat or cooking them or prepping them in a slightly different way might be good for some people. So, but I'm sure you can hit it up in the air fryer even.
Yeah.
Anyway.
What's up, my man? Can you hear us over there?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah, man. You're ready to go to like fucking outer space with that goddamn chair.
Look at that, man. That's like the first chair you buy when you hit like 50,000 subscribers.
Yeah,
Attaboy.
that's like the PewDiePie chair type thing, right?
It is, man. We all got it.
That's like a special like video game chair even, right?
Yeah, and I don't even play video games really on this computer anymore, but I just think it looks cool.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
It does.
Right? Y'all are commenting on it. We're starting to show off, right?
Yeah, you need shit in the background for people to comment on, right?
Speaking of, you guys have a nice silhouette in the background.
Not bad. That guy's got some traps
Joe
going.
Rogan curtain.
That's right. You never know what's going to come out from behind that curtain.
You never know.
I can't wait to find out.
So you said you don't really play video games much nowadays, but you had a video game addiction going on for a while, right?
Correction. I still play a shit ton of video games. I just don't do it sitting right here.
Ah,
Yeah. So, man, before I got into fitness, I was real bad into. You ever heard of World of Warcraft?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it wasn't that game. It was a game like that, but a Star Wars version of it. So, yeah, I wasted so much time playing that damn game.
What was the name of the game?
So now my problem is like I sit at this, like when I'm editing videos, I do all my own editing. I do all that stuff. So like, and I do my client stuff right here. So it's like when I'm trying to relax, I got to get the hell away from right here.
What have you learned from being previously addicted to video games, and then like what about the addiction of doing what you do now, YouTube, social media? You know, are you kind of a little worried or concerned about any of those addictions, or are you doing okay with those, or how's it working for you?
I mean, I think that addictions, I mean, I'm a very addictive person in general. I've been addicted to, I feel like I'm the type of guy, like when I'm doing something, I'm addicted to it, right? Like when I got into, I think it was really like me getting into fitness was just a matter of me like replacing one addiction for another, but finding things to be addicted to that were beneficial to me. I mean, dude, when I was playing that MMO, man, I was selling cell phones at the time. So it was like, wake up, go to work. And like the whole time I'm at work, I'm like online researching how to level up my character, checking on people in my guild. I ran like a clan, man, super nerdy shit. Like what armor piece I needed to go farm. Yeah, man. And then I would rush home. I'd order a pizza on the way home, eat a sub. And like I was in a relationship with like my high school sweetheart at the time. Oh man, dude, I just totally neglected her. She left me. And dude, it was not good. It was like 2 years of my life. And I remember like I came out of this relationship and I was in like the worst shape I'd ever been in. Things weren't good. And now you're like, all right, I'm single. I need to try to get laid somehow. I have no game. All I've been talking to is these dorks for the last 2 years, you know? So yeah, man, I just kind of swapped addictions. And, you know, I still play video games, but it's just not to that crate. Like, you know, now I have a job and I found a way to like make the nerdy side of me kind of also make me money in the same sense, you know?
I want to ask you this real quick because when I was a teenager, I also played like quite a few MMOs. I was curious what the MMO you were talking about was, but I played this game called Maple Story, and we've talked about. You know what it is. That's why you're laughing at me.
I know what it is.
You know what it is.
I know what it is. I know what it's all about.
Hey man, it wasn't hardcore at all, but it was addictive as hell. And before I went into college, I was like, fuck. I put hundreds, if not thousands of hours into that game. I was like, holy shit, Nsima, if you want to move forward in life, you can't play this anymore. You got to delete it. And I was sitting there, literally, probably a few tears in my eyes when I deleted my character. So what I want to know, dude, I deleted the character. I couldn't do it anymore. I had to delete it. So what, because I know a lot of people are listening, they're like, fuck, I'm kind of in that same boat where I don't have control over this. Right. And I probably got to delete my character. So what, kind of like, how did you bring yourself to have the courage to just stop that? Because you still play games now, but probably in a healthier fashion.
Yeah. I mean, dude, here's the bad part is I think it's probably like with most addictions, you reach this point where it's like the point of no return. So you're like, Jesus Christ, if I don't stop this, it's just going to get real. Am I allowed to cuss on here?
Yes.
Okay. I'm all right. Shit's going to get real messed up if I keep going this way. Cause I'd lost my girlfriend and I'm realizing, man, like the amount of money I was spending. I was so addicted. I was doing pretty good at my, like, cell phone sales job. Right. and I would pay people to level my characters up while I was at work. Right. So I would have all these extra characters leveled up, and then I'm buying like special pieces of gear, and I was farming gold and reselling it. Like it was a whole process.
Damn.
You know, so I mean, she had to hit rock bottom. I had to realize that I was extremely out of shape. I had no girlfriend, you know, and I don't think there's a bigger motivator for a male than not being able to have sex when you want it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, you know, now you're like upwards of over 450,000 subscribers on your YouTube channel. Like, how did this vlog stuff come to be, and what did it look like in the beginning? Was there like video game stuff on there in the beginning?
Nah, man. And it's so long story short, I get out of my relationship, right? And I get out of this whole MMO thing. And I think I was 22, 23 at the time. And I never really experienced like, I mean, a little bit in college, but like the going out, the bar scene, the partying scene. So I got pretty heavy into that. And I realized as I'm going out, all these dudes that are out were wearing affliction shirts and they all had bicep veins. And I'm like, damn, how do I join that prestigious club? So I started kind of working out. And, you know, no idea on diet. I had zero clue like what I'm supposed to be doing. I just knew you needed, you know, or I thought you needed the protein shake, you eat oats and you're going to get huge. Like that's what I thought. And I remember I started like really researching like the diet side of it. And I put myself together like a little meal plan and actually like followed it like verbatim. Like, you know, meal one is like weighing everything, trying to be super meticulous. And once I did that was when I was like, for the first time in my life, I had abs. I remember like sending a picture to my mom and like my dad, like, look, guys, and they didn't give a shit. But I was so proud of those abs and the fact that I made that plan. So I was like, well, like, you know, this ain't that hard, really. Like, I didn't know shit about diet, but I just like researched it, figured a plan out. So, you know, I'm posting my results on Facebook and I get local people hitting me up like, hey, what are you doing? Can you make me a diet? So I started making diets for people and doing that whole thing. And I was like, you know what? I'm like, I'm going to get certified as a personal trainer. Why the hell not? You know, I can maybe make some money, train some people, maybe, I don't know. I didn't really know where I wanted to go with it, but I want to get certified. And I remember I was like, all right, so in order to legitimize my personal training, I'm going to make some YouTube videos just so they're there. Like, it just makes me look more legit. I have an Instagram, I got a YouTube, yada, yada. So I had made like, I hired a camera guy and we made like 10 videos in like a couple weeks. And I kept refreshing. Like, there was this app out on my phone, the YouTube app, it would tell you how much money you made. And it was always stuck at a penny. Always. I remember just being like giving up on it. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't going to ever go up. And then one day I checked it and I made like $50. And I was like, how did that happen? And I looked and I had made a meal prep video that was like super terrible. You go back and watch it. That thing is a joke. But it made me $50. And I was like, holy shit. So I just kind of started making that same kind of video, like looking at like different hashtags and different like diets, and just kind of started. And that, yeah, man. And then people just started coming. And that's when I was like, all right, I need to quit this job I'm doing and started to focus on this YouTube thing. And I went on a run, man. I did 180 days in a row. I did a video every single day and didn't miss a day. All shot, edited, and everything by me. So grinded it out, and it kind of worked. And here we are.
Man, that's a lot of days in a row. Do you still do that frequently? Is it 3-4 days a week?
Hell no. Hell no. Well, you know, in the beginning, you have like, I didn't know what I was doing. You know, like really, you know, I was just a kid. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to I need a video every day. That's my goal. I quit my job and I'm like, well, now I have all this free time. Like, I need to spend this somehow. I didn't know the best way to approach it. So I was like, I'm just going to do a video every single day. And I remember going on vacation to Fort Lauderdale while I was in the middle of this streak. My buddies are waking up, walking on the beach, getting coffee, drinking. And I'm like not leaving the hotel till 3 p.m. because I'm doing like emails and clients and doing videos and things.
When someone asks you like what you do you tell them that you're a YouTuber?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's almost like it's goofy to say that.
Yeah, it sounds like, weird, right?
Younger generation looks at you like a superstar and the older generation is just like, what the hell? Like, they kind of like cringe at you. Yeah. Like they don't know what you do until you pull up in a nice car and they're like, oh shit. Okay.
Right.
That must work. You know what I mean? So YouTuber, yeah, but it just depends. I get a temperature check of who I'm talking to, you know. Personal trainer sounds cooler to an older demographic. YouTube, younger kids though, you tell them you're a YouTuber, they've never seen a video and they want a picture.
Do you share a lot of stuff about maybe your past? You know, you were addicted to alcohol. You were drinking quite a bit and stuff like that, I believe. And so do you kind of share a lot of that stuff with people as well?
I mean, are we talking? I mean, in person, if I'm talking to somebody, you know, it's not the first thing I bring up. But you know, if we're
right.
if I can give, my whole thing is like, I think you should always speak from like experience and shit you've gone through. Like, man, I've been addicted to alcohol. Had a really bad problem with Percocets for a while. Still love to party. I just feel like I have a little better self-control over it.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about,
very addictive. I have very addictive personality. So when I'm doing something, I do it to like the 110th percent.
Can we talk about that self-control that you have now? Because like I have a lot of friends. I know a lot of people that like when it does come to alcohol, they don't necessarily want to totally get it out of their life, but they can't seem to control it in their life. So I'm really curious how you got to the point of having an addiction to alcohol to now you probably drink a bit, but you don't, it's not as excessive as it used to be. And I feel like getting to that point is really difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of it too is, when I first started like all of YouTube, I do these like little mini challenges with myself. So like, when I first started YouTube, I realized like, I was like, all right, so now I don't have a job. I have some money in the bank. I can pay my bills, but I need to like grow this. So I did a challenge and I think I went, what was it? Like 9 months without like a single drink of alcohol. And I gave it up completely. And I'll periodically do things like that. And if I have like like this, like past weekend for the Arnold, we went out Saturday night and I had to catch a flight Sunday morning. We shut that club down. We were at it was insane. Didn't even go to sleep. But I realized though, like anytime I have like a really bad moment, like I've had bad moments with alcohol where I lose my self-control and I'm just like, I black out, I wake up and I don't remember anything, feel like shit for 2 days. Then I like force myself to go, and he's like, all right, like you're going on a break. You got 6 months, no drinking. And I've done that multiple times. But really for me, it's how easy just everything can spiral out of control, man. I mean, with what I do with like my schedule and everything, I mean, I'm a one-man team. So the second that, I could have a little fun on a Saturday knowing I have some Sunday recovery ahead of me. But like, if I try to, like I used to, it'd be like, shit, people call me, you want to go out Tuesday night? Like, hell yeah. And then my whole, everything else, it just cascades out of control. Then I'm trying to edit videos and do all this shit hungover. Then like, it's just not good. So my priorities though, when I go out is like one thing that helped a lot, which is crazy. This might sound kind of goofy, but like I used to pregame before I ever went out. So it's like, all right, we got to have a 6-pack down before we go out. Now I refuse to have a drink of alcohol till I'm at the spot. So like we get out at 11, places shut down at 2. It's like, all right, well, kind of limits it. But if I go out with 6 in my system, then I'm ordering crucial amounts there because I'm already fucked up. You know what I mean? And then we're like, but I love to party though. So it's like, I don't want to give it up completely because I have so much fun. But on the flip side, it's like, it can be extremely detrimental, especially when your job's fitness and health.
Yeah, you have you created a drinking window.
Yeah, I did. Well, I'm so bad with food too. Like the whole thing is like cheat meals and all that. Like I'm a big believer of one cheat meal a week. Like if you're gonna do it, have your one cheat meal a week. Make it a meal. Don't make it a whole day. And I kind of cram it in there. Like my cheat meals on the same day my alcohol is. Like not that I drink every weekend. I try to do like now I try to do like every other week max. But like once a month, like me and the boys will have a good night. I think that's crucial too for like building relationships with people, especially now I live in Houston. So a lot of these people I'm meeting, I'm kind of just now getting to know. So, some alcohol really helps loosen up some people.
Walk us through this epic bro fight that you got into, where you were, somebody was calling you out and you guys were talking about who could get bigger. And then you actually got into a fight over it.
I want to know how you know about this. You did your research.
Well, actually, I'm friends with the guy that you got into a fight with. I was kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay, I was gonna say. Oh Jesus, yeah. This was before YouTube, actually. Yes, definitely, because I was still wearing Affliction. I remember the shirt I was wearing.
A medium Affliction shirt. I love it.
Yeah, no shit, just popping sleeves. We were drinking, and I have this problem. I have a very short temper. Something that's gotten better with age, obviously, but it's a really short temper. And we were at my house drinking one night, and this guy showed up, and shit, I can't say his name. But I actually read a Facebook status from this morning. He's not doing too hot. Yeah. Sorry, bud.
We'll just call him Brad. We'll call him Bradley Martin.
All right, there we go. That'll start some shit. No, so we were at my house. We were just drinking, and this dude, he was like kind of new to the gym, and I'd given him a lot of advice and everything like that. Pretty big dude. Like I'm like 5'10" right now, like 180. This dude's like 6'3", pretty big dude. And doesn't really work out, but you can tell like he's got some potential if he gets in there and kills it. So I hype anybody up, all right, that I'm talking to. So I'm like, hey man, you're gonna be big, He lifted with me a couple times in the gym, seen him in the gym, kind of giving him some pointers. And we get drunk and we're on my back porch, and back when I still smoked cigarettes. So we're kind of out there having that alcohol smoke break or whatever. And he just kind of got really drunk and he just kept saying like, man, I'm going to be way bigger than you here before too much longer. You even said it. I got way better genetics than you. I'm going to crush you with this. And I remember just, it's in and out. It's like, I think they call it browned out. I remember like moments of it. I remember my one friend sitting there, shout out to Dobbs. He kept just being like, hey, you need to stop that. You need to quit. You need to stop. Cause I get in my own head a lot. I'm like, this dude's talking shit. And next thing I knew, I just blasted this dude. He fell off my back porch. And total pussy too, because like, I mean, he was still able to like get, I mean, I got him pretty good. Like he was able to stand back up and he was just totally like, what was that, man? You know what I mean? So, you know, and then the girls with him got all mad at me. And then, okay. So long story short, the next day I felt really shitty about it. All right. So I bought him, I think, of C4 off of eBay.
That's sick.
I gave it to him, but he didn't come to the gym for a week because I got him right in that sweet spot between the eye and the side of the nose.
Yeah.
So he had a nice little mark for like a week. So he didn't come to the gym for a while. And he's, as far as I know, he never went back. So maybe I'm this downward spiral he's on right now. Maybe I'm the result of that.
Hey, hopefully he still has that C4 and he puts it to some good use, right?
At least
bro, here's some pre-workout. Like let's let it be water under the bridge.
Bygones be bygones, bud. This will amp you up.
Yeah, and then was it the original C4 or was it like the messed up formula?
Wasn't expecting this guy to come out of nowhere.
I'm here. What's up, dude?
I think it was just because I was at the time I was saving money, so I probably got whatever the cheapest thing was on eBay. You got to sort by price plus shipping, lowest first, buy it now only.
Oh, wow. Yep.
You know, that's. I'm big on that shit though, man.
Yeah.
Saving money like that.
Heck yeah. What's awesome about everything that I'm hearing thus far, dude, it seems like you're almost like you track macros for life, right? Like not only like in the diet, but like that stuff has carried over to the partying, the drinking and all that. And, you know what I mean? So it's like, do you think 100%. That, so then like, how can you explain like the, what's the word? The disciplines from like bodybuilding has carried over into like other aspects of your life. Cause people who are on the outside looking in, they kind of don't understand that like once they get their diet in check, like, oh, all of a sudden I show up to work every day on time. And, you know, then things kind of just cascade from there. Like, did you notice a turn in something like that?
I mean, I think, as most of you guys probably know, if you ever followed a diet, especially like in the beginning, it wasn't so much tracking macros as it was like the meal plan. The meal 1, the meal 2, the meal 3, the timing, which I'm a little less on that aspect of it now. I like macros a little better. Which right now I am 30. I think today's like day 33 on the carnivore diet, 100% strict.
Attaboy.
Yeah. Which I imagine we'll get into that. But you know, I always tell people if you can follow a diet, right? I would say food's probably one of the most tempting things you're ever going to be around. I mean, everywhere you go, you got fast food restaurant here, you got candy here, and all this shit is so good. And eating stuff on a meal plan is not good. I mean, if we're relatively speaking, right?
True.
From a flavor perspective. But if you can follow, I mean, the first time I truly got shredded was a meal plan I created by myself, followed it for 12 weeks. I remember I gave up alcohol, I gave up going out, and I even gave up cheat meals for like the last 6 weeks. And I was the most shredded I'd ever been. I did a photo shoot, never thought in my life I'd ever have abs. But it was like that moment, like after, if you can dial in for 12 weeks, 3 months, a quarter of a year, and follow something verbatim and give yourself zero excuses, not miss a workout, not miss a cardio session, and crush it, I don't think there's much else you can't do.
Have you been in better shape since that time? Like just doing that one time, have you been in better shape? You know, you might come and go a little bit with your physique, but you probably, I would imagine, have been in better shape ever since you did that one challenge, right?
Yeah. I mean, that for dude, I want to say I was like 152 pounds for that photo shoot.
Damn.
And my last shred, I think the leanest I got, I think the lowest weigh-in I got was about 171. So definitely put on some muscle. Steroids help from time to time. But yeah, definitely in better shape. I'm definitely just learning like, not to push my body so hard, man. I burnt so much muscle off just doing so much cardio. Because that was my first meal plan I ever made for myself. I want to say I was only eating at the end of it 1,500 calories a day with 40 minutes of cardio a day. So I was a miserable son of a bitch walking around. But learned quite a bit since then. But those were the glory days, man.
What made you want to try steroids? What was the interest there?
All my friends doing them. You go to the gym and you find out that like, so I start lifting, right? I meet these like 3 dudes I went to high school with, big dudes. I'm lifting with them. And then like, you know, the first month, everybody's like, you know, oh yeah, just drink your protein. And about after that first month, they go, yeah, well, I mean, there's a little something here extra you can try if you want, And
you're like, what?
I can hook you up. Yeah. Then they start talking you into it. And they're like, we got and then eventually you just find out that everybody is on steroids. Everybody is on steroids. And then you go to the gym and you find out the guys that you would never have guessed were on, and everybody's taking it. So, and then my best friend being, which by the way, he'd be a great guest on this podcast, by the way, Ankrum Fitness. But he's, super knowledgeable about all this. That's what his whole channel's based on. So I'm like, hey, bud, what do you think I should do? And then he just kind of sets me on the right path.
Yeah. One of my best friends in high school, he started taking them really, really early on. And fortunately for me, so there was a lot of people that were on steroids, like where I came from in New York. Like the gym was it was very clear that it was full of steroids. I mean, everyone was super jacked and crazy strong. But I was never really that enticed by it because my friends didn't do it. My brother Chris didn't do it at the time and stuff like that. And he was my training partner most of the time. But when my best friend started taking them, I was kind of interested. I was like, what is this about? So I started looking at it, researching it a little bit, but I never messed with it until I was a little bit older because my friend sucked and it didn't matter what he took. He still sucked. Right. So I was kind of lucky that if he would have jumped past me, I probably would have gotten on him at 18 or 19 years old. But luckily for me, he was a shitty lifter no matter what he did. So it didn't influence me that much until later on.
So you also got great genetics too, man. I've been skinny fat my whole life. So it took so much for me to mold what I have into something that's passable, I guess.
Yeah, I definitely have genetics to be strong. I mean, the first time I lifted with friends and stuff, I mean, I was already lifting a little bit, but not that often. First time I ever lifted with my friends, I mean, they couldn't press 65 pounds, and I was doing 135 for a couple of reps, and it was just, I don't know why that was gifted to me, but that was just there, from the beginning.
Yeah, and
definitely not in my family, for sure.
And I think that's why so many people resonate with you so much, because I know that's why I did. In a video game so much that it was it messed your life up a little bit. Grew up skinny fat. That's me, still to this day. But then you look at your physique now and it's just oh shit, what's that guy doing?
Andrew, I got news for you.
Uh-oh.
You want to let him in on this?
He's not skinny fat.
No, you're not skinny fat anymore.
Well,
you see, you just said until this.
I feel that way, dude. I don't know.
Yeah, newsflash.
All right, well, it's possibly the best day of my life.
He looks great.
Thanks.
Well, I was gonna say it's crazy what you carry with you mentally from years of never being now, when I meet people, we did a meet and greet event this last weekend, and it was I meet people and they're man, asking me. It's still so weird to me that people ask me for advice. I'm in person, people what do I do to get huge? And I'm giving muscle, and I still feel I'm just this tiny dude. It's, I don't know, it's wild.
Yeah, YouTube's wild, man. And that's funny because we had Mike Israetel on, who's just a freaking gorilla. And selfishly, I always ask everybody on the podcast hey, what if somebody is about 175 trying to do this and that? And it's I'm only describing myself. But you had you had put out a basically a low fat bodybuilding pizza. And so I asked, Mike about it because I saw it and I was like, dude, I got to make that pizza that Remington was just cooking. It looks freaking delicious. And the short answer was you could make it and it'll, kind of resemble a pizza, kind of taste like a pizza. And I'm I don't know, man, when you haven't had pizza and that's your favorite thing ever, the way this guy cooks it is freaking good. And it came out pretty good, dude. I was kind of surprised. But where did all these recipes come from? Is it just by trying shit over and over, or was somebody teaching you?
To be honest, a lot of the recipes, I'm literally just scrambling for a video, and I'm making these when I'm really, really hungry and I'm trying to find ways to fit things into my diet. Yeah. So I'm Googling keto pizza recipe, and then you'll have because there's all these people that make all these recipes and they're just everywhere. And then I'll find one and I might tweak it or I might just verbatim make it. But I've over the course of YouTube, I've discovered quite a bit. I mean, I think I've done 6 pizza recipes on the channel. And, I was talking about my addictive personality, but this last November, I was in the best shape of my life, hands down. And I was eating 3 of those pizzas a night.
Oh.
Yeah. But it fit my macros. I was shredded.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
and what is this? I mean, you can answer if you, however you want, but was this like PED free or was this just like eating?
oh, my last shred.
Yeah.
My cycle for the last one. So I did 5. It was like 5. Oh, let me see. It was 1.7 test prop every other day. So what's that add up to in like a week? Like 600. So it was 600 tests a week, and then the last 4 weeks I did Anavar 75 milligrams every day.
And how many weeks of a shred was this?
12.
12.
Oh, okay.
Do you feel that like? Well, I don't know how you do your stuff, but do you feel that like? Do you always use stuff when you shred, or do you like use stuff in general, or like how's that work?
I mean, so right now I'm on TRT.
Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm at 150 milligrams a week. So I'm always on that, which I feel like if you, I don't know, I feel like the first few cycles I did, I really kind of messed my levels up. So
like permanently or just like?
I mean, I was off for about 11 months and I couldn't even explain how I felt. Like I felt depressed. I felt like I was in this really weird place. It was so strange because it just felt like normal to me. And then when I got on TRT, it was almost like there was a light bulb that went back off. And I was like, oh, this is how I'm supposed to feel. Okay. And it like woke me back up. So I don't know, I understand a lot of it can kind of be mental, but I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to try to go off TRT now.
Yeah, I
ever.
think
not when it makes it so much easier to just like, everything. I feel like I recover faster. I feel like my body handles food better. I hold on and like on TRT to off, I hold like 10 extra pounds of body weight just being on TRT.
And then also how much easier is like even just YouTubing videos and stuff and having the energy to get through the entire day of shit that you have going on TRT.
I mean, it definitely helps for sure. I mean, it's testosterone in general, man. I love it. I love it.
It's something that I share often that I use, and I think it's important. But every once in a while I kind of forget, like because I've been doing it for so long, and so somebody's like, oh, well, that's your experience because you're on stuff. And I'm like, well, that's fair. That's actually fair because I sometimes forget how invigorating it is. Like, if I was to go off of them, I would feel totally and completely fine if it was a long enough time that I was off of them for. But like you said, even like 10 months, 11 months, a year, it can take a long ass time. And I think a precautionary tale for everybody is you have to be really careful when you come off of steroids. Like if you're ever thinking about using 100%. Them, and if you're ever thinking about like, hey, I'm going to use them for this, and then I'm going to come back off of them, you got to be really cautious, because I have never suffered from depression in my entire life, except for when I came off of steroids, and I didn't even know what it was. I was emotional, and it was weird. And luckily, I have a lot of good people around me and stuff, so it never became a thing. I don't have any other things that I'm addicted to or nothing like that. But I could see, how somebody could take their own life, or how someone could be aggressive. People talk about roid rage, and people talk about side effects of steroids. Side effects of steroids are real, first of all. Secondly, when you come off of them, that's when you'll get hit hard with them. You'll get the acne, you'll get depression, you'll get all kinds of stuff. So I like to point that out to people, because steroids are great. Like, I love them. I've said in the movie Bigger, Stronger, Faster, I'll probably be on and off them the rest of my life. And here we are 10, 15 years later, and I'm still enjoying them. I do like them, but people need to understand it is a drug. It's very dangerous. So you need to be cautious with it. And if you're thinking about doing them, you should be researching it. I'm sure when you started your first one, not only did you have people around you, your first cycle, but you probably also researched it, correct?
Yeah, I did. I guess, the research was there, but the problem is it's so easy to find like self-validating research.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, what I mean? You're reading like all the benefits of Tren, and then like I do Tren, and it was the fucking worst decision I ever made. This is terrible. I had to replace 2 doors in my house. I was not sleeping, ruining bed sheets. It just wasn't a good time at all.
Yeah, sweating.
So, yeah, and I mean it's knowledge, but it's also like, I mean, you don't understand really what you're getting into until you really come off of it, and then you're like, because like it wasn't. I mean, I was definitely depressed when I came off, but it was so weird because like, I did this like crazy power PCT. I think it was like Dr. Scally's power PCT. So I had like Novadex, Clomid, HCG. I was doing like everything. I spent like top dollar to have like the best PCT I could have. And I thought, after the first month and a half, being off, I just kind of forgot that I was off, and I didn't even realize until I got on TRT that my shit was not good, and it wasn't even so much depression, but maybe this is just like a side effect of depression, but it was, I was just so unmotivated. My training sucked. I was like, my YouTube videos were just kind of ho-hum. I was kind of in a blah mood, Do you understanding going into it that if you do it, there's a chance for some long-term repercussions. Yeah. For sure. You just gotta be smart.
On your YouTube channel, I'm wondering, how is it that you share that information? Because I've mentioned this on other episodes before, but I noticed that a lot of individuals that share a lot of this stuff, they're even what's his name? John Meadows said that a lot of these guys are doing dangerous amounts of these drugs, and unnecessarily high amounts. And the thing is like, you look at YouTube, teenagers watch this shit, 15, 16, 17-year-old men or boys, right? 100%. And they want to get big 100%. Fast. So I feel like it seems that, I'm assuming that the way that you're sharing this information is somewhat safe and precautionary, especially for guys of that age group.
It's so I really don't talk about this stuff much on my channel. Okay. I made a video a while back where I talked about, I'd been off steroids for 4 or 5 months or so. And I made a video about like my experience with them, because my biggest thing about the whole steroid thing was I was terrified of getting demonetized in general. Like I've always, like when I started my channel, especially, I tried to, right when I started my YouTube was during the, it was this ad gate or something. It was this thing that happened where they were like, demonetizing everybody for goofy shit. And I had just started my channel. So I was like, I want it to be family friendly. We have no cussing. We have nothing. It's going to be 100% by the books. So if you watch my old videos compared to now, I'm all like, hey guys, how are we doing? Yeah. Like no cussing, no jokes, no nothing. And that's kind of always where, with the whole steroid thing, I was that same thing. I'm like, I don't want to put steroids in a title of my video and get demonetized. So, to be honest, I really, like this podcast, I think is, the first time I've ever really talked about what was in my cycle and everything last time I did it. I just, I don't know. Like, I don't claim natural. I don't, and I've admitted to using steroids in the past, but, I try not, cause I understand so many of these kids are so influenced by this stuff. And, I guess I don't know what the best approach is if I were to even talk about it. Like I could make a video about my current steroid use and all that, but I'm like, I wonder what benefit that gives any party involved.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It probably will just entice them to take it since they look up to you and they want to have your physique. So I do think that's great to not talk about it a whole lot. And then if people ask you, then you can decide on how you're going to handle the situation. If someone DMs you or something, you can say, hey, look, I take them, but you're 15 and I don't think it'd be a great idea. You should wait till you're older, wait till your natural testosterone production goes down,
Right. And that's always my advice. I mean, I didn't do my first cycle till I was 24 years old. And I think a lot of the people say you should wait till you're 25. I did it at 24 and
wait till you're at least out of mom and dad's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no shit, man. And then have the money and have enough at least to like prepare for the whole cycle. Like buy your PCT in the beginning and like, because I've heard stories from people where it's like they buy like a bottle at a time and then like their dealer goes to jail. I just heard that story yesterday. I was like, damn. All right, yeah, like buy it all at once and then there's a lot to be said too, man. Like even now, like I'm still learning about like how to properly train. I'm still learning about what the best diet is for me. It's always a growing learning experience. Like I switched my training up about maybe like 6 weeks ago, about 6 weeks ago, kind of like around right before I started the Carnivore Diet. And I'm always learning. I'm always trying to be, better. So you never know as much as you think you know until so you can do a lot naturally without ever getting on anything. And I definitely didn't take my own advice on that one. I wish I would have waited a little longer.
What's your training look like? What did you switch from?
So it's not necessarily like I switched like the types of movements. I didn't go from like bodybuilding to CrossFit, nothing that goofy, but just pushing myself harder. And so like when I started the Carnivore Diet, I had this really bad shoulder injury that kept me from doing a lot of things. Kept me from overhead shoulder press, kept me from any sort of flat bench. It kept me from squats, got pretty painful. If I had like that used to really hurt. And then once I started the Carnivore Diet, that pain like disappeared. So I was like, okay, now I can actually push myself again. Let's see how strong we really are. And then I decided every lift I did, I'd kind of been being a pussy in the gym for a while. I kept to the same weights. I was doing the same reps, same sets. I wasn't pushing myself at all. for fear I was going to get another injury, or I was going to ache more, hurt more, whatever. And once all that pain went away, I just started like, screw it. I'm going to try, like, how heavy can I go? Like, let me not just do 12 reps at 225 on squat. Let's put 335 on, see how many I can do. And I just started training a lot heavier. And I swear, like, I don't know if it's the carnivore diet or if it's the training stimulus, but I'm feeling really good right now. Really good.
Has there been any other changes that may have led to your shoulder feeling better? Yeah, go ahead.
To be honest, like, the crazy thing was when I started the carnivore diet, right? Obviously, my biggest catalyst for it was Joe Rogan, seeing him talk about it. He's like, I lost this weight, And I honestly went into it looking for a way to eat, I guess, without like having to track calorie. Like, that was my initial mindset. Cause that was, a lot of people assume that you can get into this and don't have to track calories, which my experience with that have not proven to be true. That's actually pretty false, because I still gain weight if I'm eating a shit ton of meat, especially Texas barbecue. But yeah, man. Yeah. I got stories about that shit. But I went into this like diet just like with this mindset that I was just going to lose weight. That's the only thing I thought about with it. I didn't care about healing. I didn't really know if I believed in it. I've done keto. I've done all these diets and I've never gotten any real benefit. All these people talk about like, oh, keto, my brain was so clear. I'm like, I don't fucking see it. So I go into this diet and I'm literally like 4 days in of just meat, and my shoulder that has been hurting, like, it's been a problem for probably 4 to 5 years now, like a really bad problem. 4 days in, it was like, it still kind of hurt, but it was like, I don't know, something was different. Like, I could sleep on it different. I wasn't, cause like, it was so bad. I could like reach out and like grab something a certain way, and it would just like, it would send me this shock in my shoulder. And like, I was at the point where I thought I was going to need surgery. I remember thinking that. I'm like, I'll have to find someone to like give me shoulder surgery. I'm only 29 years old. Like, is this too early? Like, I really thought I was fucked. And boom, like about, let's say probably 2 weeks into the carnivore diet, my shoulder pain was gone, but I hadn't really noticed it in the gym yet. And I remember I went and I had this guy, shout out to Tony. He has ALS. He came and met me, and I got to lift in with him and stuff. And I don't know if I was, we were lifting. He kind of inspired me to lift harder, because ALS is a terrible condition. And this dude is in a wheelchair and he's still in there lifting. It kind of just really inspired me. So I just was like, well, I'm going to try to lift as hard as I can while he's here. And I started just putting all the weight on, and because he could only do machines. And so there's some incline bench machines and things like that I hadn't done in like a year and a half. And I sat down and did them, loaded the weight up, and yeah, no pain, no nothing. And carnivore diet, I don't know. But like, to me, that could be that's the only thing that's changed. That's it.
What was the way of eating that you were like doing before? I know you're like doing, if it fits your macros and tracking, but I'm more so curious about like, how much carbs were you eating per day at the time for your body weight? Like, what did that look like for you?
So at the end of my shred, so around in like November, a lot of the pictures you'll see on my Instagram where I'm like super shredded, or some of my recent videos, I'll throw clips in. I think at the bottom of that, I was about 135 grams of carbs a day. And my diet was, in a traditional sense, I remember there was a period I went through where it was really, really, really quote unquote clean. So I was eating like a pound of vegetables a day, easy, like a pound of zucchini a day. I was eating a lot of sweet potatoes and a lot of chicken breast and a lot of chicken thighs. I kept it pretty simple. But I remember, man, I was at the end of this shred. Now obviously I haven't been this shredded yet on carnivore, but towards the end of that shred, like I remember I was eating like, and blueberries. I remember like what I thought should have been the perfect diet. I remember feeling like total trash. Like, I don't know if that's me just, all the cardio and the deficit, whatever, but I felt like shit. I remember just being like in my head, like, shouldn't I feel better? This is the cleanest my diet has ever been. This is the most veggies I've ever eaten. I'm getting fruit every single day. I'm taking a greens powder. I'm getting like my protein sources are all good. No shakes. And and then after that, inevitably, every time that I diet like this, I go through a little relapse period where I'm eating whatever the hell gets put in front of me. So I would say, all through December, up before, all of December, a little bit of early January, and kind of from Thanksgiving on, my diet was kind of, I wasn't really tracking much. I was kind of just, if I want a piece of cheesecake, I'm going to have it. If I want, whatever I want, I'm going to have it. Mainly goal just to hit my protein requirements for the day. And then, probably about 400 grams of carbs or so a day, I would say.
And like you mentioned the shoulder in terms of carnivore, but I'm curious, it's been 33 days you said, correct?
Yeah.
What else are you feeling other than the shoulder? Has anything else changed in terms of, I guess, the way you look at food, your habits as far as food's concerned, or is the main thing you found your shoulder?
Well, all right. So where do we begin? So the biggest thing for me, and one thing I've always struggled with my addictive personality and all that, is I am so addicted to sugary sweet carbs. Right. Anytime I'm dieting and I'm meticulously tracking, I live for that Saturday cheat meal. I live for it, and like I plan ahead. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have the cheesecake. We're gonna go here. Then I'm gonna have this dessert from here. We're gonna order American Cookie Company, and I'm gonna have a thing of cookie butter in the fridge for when I get home. It's this whole like ordeal, right? And I'm like, it's all I think about all week. I like obsess over it, and I can't wait for my Saturday night, right? Since starting carnivore, I like almost like all my cravings have disappeared. Not that the food doesn't sound good or sound appetizing, but like there's a jar of cookie butter up in my pantry right now from my buddy just came and stayed with me for a week, and he had some food left here. If that was up here at any other time in my house, I'd have already sword swallowed that whole jar. But like it's almost too, it's like the benefits I'm getting from this diet has me also not even wanting to have a carb. Like I refuse to. And it's almost like meat itself has taken on a taste that it never had before. And salt to me is like my new sugar.
Yeah.
Like it's in the flavor of it. Like, so my diet here lately, I eat the same thing almost every day. And I'll do a pound of 85-15 lean ground beef. I'll do a pound and 4 ounces of chicken thighs, and I'll do 6 large eggs. That has been my daily driver every single day. And then once a week, I'll add in 8 ounces of beef liver, which is disgusting, by the way. Terrible. Yeah. I feel like I was taking shots the first time I'm eating it. Yeah. Like, what are we? There's got to be a better way, fellas. But that's been my diet, and I look forward and like to think about just those foods and to look forward to them as much as I do. Like, I just can't wait to get home. And I know I get that thing of ground beef with like, you got like an inch or two of grease in the bottom of the bowl, you know, and I got the chicken thighs, I air fry them so they come out real nice. I'm just like, that's all I really want. And then cheat meals on carnivore, I've still kept my cheat meals 100% zero carb. So I have 3 go-tos that I do. I'll do, there's a Pluckers right down the street. So they don't bread their wings. I believe they do fry them in some sort of vegetable oil. So, I mean, you know, take that as you will, but I'll get their wings that are zero carb, and I'll either get a plate of those. I'll go to a Texas barbecue place and get about 3 to 4 pounds of meat, eat that with just salt, no sauce, or I'll go to a Brazilian steakhouse down the road, and they'll just kind of bring me meat, and I'll just eat that, no carb as well. So it's, but you know, and I used to eat like, dude, crazy shit. I would like literally be on my couch, and me and my buddy, we had such terrible like relationships with food towards the end, and we like, you know, played off of each other. And man, we'd be sitting on my couch, and I would get like real sick to my stomach. I'd get up and I'd like literally throw up from just so much food. And I'd be like, man, I'm glad I got some room now. Are we doing dessert? Real talk, man. Real talk. And all that's gone since starting carnivore, for real.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes, diet, great. I would say my thinking. So one thing I noticed too is that I think I'm a lot less moody, if that makes sense. Like I used to be not like I'm an asshole, but you know, you got them days where you're just kind of like, fuck this guy, you know, and a lot of that's kind of gone. My temper's a lot less short, and my mood and my anxiety, and I'm usually always kind of like racing, I guess, in my head to like, okay, gotta do this, gotta do that, and I let myself get anxious and worked up. A lot of that's gone completely, like strange, and then energy levels throughout the day. Yeah. I mean, shit, I've been up since 4:30 in the morning, and I still feel like I'm full of energy, chock full of it.
Now, this is pretty awesome. I'm really curious because, like, you're coming from you know, I used to do If It Fits Your Macros. I used to really track a lot. And then I implemented a little bit of fasting. It gave me a little bit more control over stuff. And then I stopped tracking, and I've been able to maintain stuff. I'm eating very low carb, sometimes no carb. And now I'm wondering, have you thought about how long you're gonna, like, are you gonna stick to mainly carnivore? Are you going to add in a little bit of carbs here and there? Like, what do you think your transition looks like, if there's even going to be a transition?
You know, so my original thought process going into this thing was to run the diet for 30 days, see how I feel, you know, report back. I'm like, I'll get some content out of it. It's another notch in the belt of, like, you know, experience when it comes to dieting. And I originally it was like 30 days. That's all I'm going to do. But man, I almost feel too good to, like, I'm like, okay, if I start eating carbs again and my shoulder gets all messed up again and I can't lift as heavy and I feel like shit, then like what's the point just for some carbs? Especially now, because like, you know, I had a nicotine habit that was like 3.5 years old. I was a big dipper. I would do Skull wintergreen pouches, and I would have one in and out all day while I was dieting, because that was just something I would do. And I was able to, when I started carnivore, I quit that as well. And I haven't been able to do that yet. But it's almost like all my addictions, yeah, and even going back to alcohol too, like my desire to like race and get as fucked up as I can, as fast as I can. I'm almost just more content with life. Like I'm just cool with my lot in that moment. I'm like, all right, like this ain't so bad, you know, like, yeah, it's, I think honestly, so I've been doing lately so I just came back from Ohio. Speaking of, hopefully none of us have that corona.
Yeah.
But I just got back from Ohio, and leading up to that, and then while I was there, I did OMAD, so 1 meal a day. While I was there, that way I wasn't, you know, things get too crazy. So I did OMAD with carnivore, and I think those two for me, at least right now, is like the perfect sweet spot, because I get to have my big meal at the end of the day, get to really like cram a lot of food down, and can still keep my calories low. And somehow I don't think I've ever taken a trip successfully like I did for the Arnold and came back like in better shape than when I left. I don't think I've done that yet. And that happened on this diet for sure.
And your workouts are feeling really good. Like I personally haven't had any carbohydrates other than like a glass of wine or two here and there. I haven't eaten like a potato. I haven't had rice. I haven't had ice cream or pizza or anything like that in probably like 100 something days. And I just continue to feel better. You know, my strength is back up. Like I feel awesome. You know, are you continuing to feel a little bit better even without any, you know, carbohydrates in your diet?
You know, a lot of people, like the one concern I had when I first started was everybody was saying my pumps were going to be shit because I wasn't going to have carbs in my system, no glycogen or whatever. My workouts are the best they've ever been. My pump, I feel the biggest I've ever felt as far as just when I'm in the gym, and I don't know, it's like, maybe this is like pseudoscience in my brain or whatever, but like I've kind of justified it as like, all right, so why does the healing work? Why am I stronger? I'm like, well, I'm taking in pure animal tissue, and that's really about it. You're taking in like the tendons, the muscles, the proteins, and all that, and you have nothing in there that's gonna like slow it up or stop it. Like when I read Dr. Sean Baker, like a little excerpt from something he had with like the anti-nutrients that are in vegetables, and like there's all toxins that are poisoning you and shit. I'm like, I mean, damn, like, you know, like what's happening here?
Meat has everything you need. It doesn't have anything that you don't need. You know, and that same case can't be made for fruit or vegetables, and from what I've seen.
Well, I think I was watching Joe, which, by the way, to sharpen up for this little interview thing here, I watched your Joe Rogan with you and your brother. I watched that most recent one you guys did. Yeah, one of these days I'll get on there. Bide my time. But I was watching, I think it was Dr. Rhonda Patrick maybe or something. They were saying that like the toxins in vegetables are like it's beneficial because your body gets stronger by fighting them off. But in my head, I'm like, why fight them in the first place when you don't have to?
Right. Well, you know, and also like, too, that may be 100% true if somebody's completely healthy, you know, but maybe it's not true if you're having sugar and you're eating some other things. Like maybe it's just too much, you know, maybe there's just too much going on. So maybe this kind of clearing out. I mean, we've heard, you know, over the years about cleansing diets, but I just think the cleansing diets have been inaccurate. I think that people have been cleansing the wrong way. I think there's no more cleansing diet that you can do than a carnivore diet, to the point where 5 days in, people are shitting like crazy because it's like blowing everything out of there, because I think it's just removal of toxic waste. Your body's like, we don't need to hold on to this bulk, this fiber that's in our gut anymore, and it just blows it right on out of there. And then a few days later, you're kind of okay. Did you have any experiences like that?
Jesus Christ. That first couple weeks on this thing, you couldn't trust a fart. Shit, dude.
Yeah, that's a pretty clean looking room you're in right there. I would imagine it'd be problematic, you know, if you had that going on now.
Nah, it was dude, and that, and then it would come out of nowhere. There was no build up where you're like, all right, I might have to take a shit in the next 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah, no warning.
It just ramp up on you. You're just on the couch, girlfriend sitting next to you. You're like, oh shit, and the frequency is down, right? So it's like now I'm like once every 2 to 3 days.
Whoa.
Compared to like every day on the money, right? And then like this is gonna sound terrible, but the smell is so much more like ooh, like in your face. It's like when you eat asparagus and you piss.
Yeah.
Like that dude had asparagus. Like now I'm like, that dude's on carnivore. I can tell.
Pungent.
But I mean, but it seems to be getting better. But being as far as I am in, it's definitely not as solid liquid as it was. It definitely was just pure lava for a second. And I'm also like, why does it burn too? Like, why does it burn? I'm not eating anything hot. But now it seems a little better. We're like 50-50, kind of like right in the sweet spot, I think.
Are you eating anything else other than you mentioned meat, eggs, and I think you
Chicken
mentioned
thighs.
some
All right,
some liver. Are you eating anything else?
I guess if I am, I am not having carbs other than if we're counting THC edible gummies, I will have one of those at night. Typically, I don't know. They have sugar on the outside, but I wash it off as much as I can, and then I eat it. So I would assume there might be 4 or 5 grams of carb in a tiny little gummy, you know. But other than that, I do still drink diet soda. I do. I'm a diet soda man. But other than that, I'm trying to even think. Nah,
Coffee?
I don't. Occasionally. Yeah. I'm more of a 0 calorie, 0 carb energy drink type of guy. So I'm definitely still getting some chemicals in that way. But yeah, I feel great. Like I said, I feel great.
I think plants are, I don't think they're really meant to be food. I think they're meant to be medicine. And I think THC is great. I think kratom is great. I think marijuana is great.
Speaking of kratom, bud, we need to talk about kratom, man.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
All right. So my experience, so you're super pro kratom.
I love kratom, yeah.
Okay. I'm not anti-kratom.
But you went off the deep end?
Man, okay. So having trouble with Percocets in the past and, you know, all that shit. So this was, man, when it was right before I moved to Houston. So let's call it about 5-6 months ago. I was at the gym and there was this dude that was always in there. He used to be a heroin addict, but a cool cat. You know, he'd come up and talk to me, and a really nice guy. He comes into me one day, and, you know, because we'd always kind of talked about our addictions and shit in the past. And he comes up and he's like, man, so I found this stuff, man. It's not addictive. It feels really good. You know, it's called kratom. And I have no idea what kratom is. I have no clue. But he's so adamant about it. And I should have told, because he had that look to him, like he was back on me. I'm like, all right, man. He's like, here, let me run home and get you some. And you can always tell that's how it's going. He drove home, got him some.
He's high as fuck on it, bro. Yeah.
Yeah. So he gives me like 6 capsules, like loaded to the brim. And I think each one was like half a gram, something.
Right.
So he says, take these. You know, he's like, there's no chance of withdrawal. There's no, like, it's just literally like, it's a plant, man. You know, that's like the number one. It's a plant, you know? So I'm like, all right, like, fuck it. So me and my girlfriend went out and to dinner, and I took them. I was like, holy shit, I feel good. Like, this feels great. So fast forward a couple days, and me and all my buddies, we were going out up in Columbus, and I didn't want to drink. I had just started, I think I just started like my last cutting day or something. So I was like, well, I'm not going to drink, but I want to get a buzz still. So we stopped at this kratom dispensary thing they up there and bought and the shit's cheap as hell. So we bought a ton of kratom, and we bought these, what were like a Gatorade Zeros, and we're pouring kratom into these things and making these nasty, disgusting sludge drinks. So me and my buddy are just chugging these outside of,
oh my God.
What? Yeah, outside of this bar, dude. We walk in and I am fucked up on kratom. But like, I remember sitting there, we'd look at each other. And I'm looking at my buddy Chance, and I'm like, is this stuff legit? And he like kind of can barely look at me. I'm like, I think it's legit. And so I went on, I had all this kratom. So I went on like probably like a 30-day, just like every night, man, kratom. Then I would kept doing more. And then it was like, it came into like, I would do 5 grams every time I take it. Then I'm doing like 15, 20 grams a day.
Damn.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling shit with me spirals, bud. And I didn't realize how, I don't know. I'm just in my head. I'm like, it's a plant. And then I was like, all right, like one day I just didn't take it. I was out. I'm like, all right, yeah, I think we're done. Cause I bought so much up front. I'm gonna say about like $100 worth up front. And then I just quit taking it. And I'm like, oh, I feel like shit. Damn. And then like I had probably 3 days where I legit withdrawed. I wouldn't say it was as intense as Percocet, but I withdrawed in the same manner that I did coming off that shit. And it scared me to death of kratom. And since then I've been like, all right, like I don't want to feel that way. Again,
I like
that's my experience with kratom.
I like when people share experiences like that because, you know, I sell kratom. I have a product called Mind Bullet, but I think it's great when people share experiences because that way people can see if it's going to be right for them. It's not going to be right for everybody, you know? And I've had good experiences with it. I haven't really had any withdrawals. I go off of it here and there. I'll just take 3 to 5 days off randomly. And then I see how connected I am to stuff. You know, I'll test it out with coffee. I'll test it out with Kratom, and I'll just see, like, am I really like overly relying on it too much? And sometimes I am. Sometimes I'm like taking too much of it. So I just take a step back. And when I do take a step back, I haven't had any issues, but I have talked to people like yourself that have had issues. One of the athletes that we had come here recently kind of had a similar experience that you had. So it's important that people understand. I would never say to anyone that you could haphazardly take anything, whether it's amino acids or whether it's, you know, you can't eat as much meat as you want on a carnivore diet and expect to get shredded, you know? So there's an overabundance of just about anything, you know?
Yeah. And I went into it and I was looking up, you know, like I said earlier, like, it's so easy to Google the information that validates your opinion. So that's where I was at, you know, and I'd see someone that was like, no, beware, there is a potential for, I'm like, get out of here, spam, block that site. What are we doing here? Government. But, you know, I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that, I was so addicted in the past to opiates. I think that it almost like ramped up my reaction to it when I came off, because I was 2 years off of opiates. And for me, I've been able to quit everything I've ever done with zero outside help. So zero, I've never had to go to rehab or never had to take, go to a doctor. I was able to just do it, grit that shit out. But with the Percocets, that was really rough. And it was like, as soon as the kratom left and those feelings came in, it was almost like it just echoed almost that exact same feeling, but like toned down a little bit. Whereas my buddy was doing just as much kratom, and he was just kind of like, I'm a little tired today, but it ain't so bad. And he was kind of over it right away. But shit works. Yeah.
Those are some large dosages.
And I think from what I read, they said that if you keep it between like 3 to 5 grams or whatever a day, or you keep your dosage like good, you're fine. But when you're just fucking, man, I was just like, any moment I could squeeze it in. I remember I'd get on to like play video games with some friends, and it was like, just run down real quick. Hold on, let me get boom, slam a Gatorade Zero filled with kratom. Like, what are we doing?
You mentioned the Percocet thing. What was that all about? And exactly what are Percocets? Because all I remember is like Molly Percocet.
Now, Molly's a hell of a drug too, by the way. Molly's a hell of a drug too. Ran into that one this past Saturday night. That's a hell of a drug, boys. I'm still recovering.
Oh my god.
But now the Percocet, man, that's basically a prescription painkiller. So the ones I'm from, Logan, Ohio, southeastern Ohio, really around the border of West Virginia. And there's a really bad like pain pill problem there, like really bad. Heroin's really bad. Opiates are really bad. And there used to be they call it, there's a name for it, but there was like this highway that would run from like Ohio to Florida. And down in Florida, you could legally get all these like prescription pills, or it was really easy to get them. And I remember people I knew would take these trips from Florida all the way up to Ohio with just like bags and hundreds of Perk 30s. And it was one of those things. I went off to college, and some of that stuff was around, but it wasn't like it might just see a little bit at a party. Here, you want a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But when I dropped out of college, proud moment, moved back, and I got a job at a gas station. That was my first job ever. Worked at a Circle K. I remember I was in there, and I moved to a city I didn't know anybody. I was kind of just doing my job, going home, playing video games. Didn't know a soul. And a buddy from high school had came into work one day. And he was like, "Hey man, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, not too bad. How you been?" We caught up. And he's like, "Hey, I'm going to a party tonight. If you want to come show up, And at the time, I had no friends, nothing where I was at. So I was like, "Yeah, I'm down. I'm just starving to do anything." I show up to this party, and I realize that like there's like no alcohol almost. Everybody's just breaking these pills up and snorting them. And and it was like, "Hey, you want to do some?" And I'm like, "Shit, I'll do anything once." And I did it, and I felt like incredible. You're like, "Oh my gosh, like life is good now." And I started hanging out with those people, and you're around them, and it's just like that's just what they do. And then you just even being around them, that's just all you're around, and it just becomes normalized. And then before you even know it, you're kind of just having some fun, and and then next thing you know, you're getting sick when you don't have them. And then your friends are stealing from you, and then shit just kind of gets out of hand. And what prompted me to actually quit was I remember I was going to, because what I would do, I wasn't making a ton of money, obviously, at the gas station. So what I would do was I would like get my money together and I would buy like Percocets. And then I would, let's say I'd get 2 or 3 that I could afford because they were like $30 a pill, right? Get 2 or 3. And then I would also buy Suboxone to not be sick coming off of the pills. So I would taper it between paychecks. I had a system, right? And I remember I was leaving this drug house one day and I got pulled over by this cop and I was in the middle of like, I had a pill all crushed up on the CD case, right? And cop pulls me over. I'm like, shit, I had to swallow everything I had. I'm like wiping the CD case off and he found the CD case. He's like, I'm going to test this and you're going to go to jail. And I was like, it's just creatine. And no, and he tests it and somehow, like by the grace of God, it didn't come back as anything. And he let me go. And but that like shocked me and like, holy shit, like I'm just doing this whole thing. And like that could have just been like 6 felonies right there. Wow. So yeah, cold turkey, man.
How is it that you were able, because you mentioned that like all your homies at the time were doing this stuff, and one of the biggest things that people have a problem with is not just detaching from the drugs that they're doing, but detaching from those people. Did you like, are those still friends that you have, or did you?
No. I mean, man, I look at the trajectory. It's actually funny. Well, I mean, not funny, but looking back on it in retrospect, none of those guys are doing good. Not one of them. A couple of them had died. But by the time this kind of all went down too, because I will say, right, I mean, there's a big stigma with people that are into drugs that like they're all just pieces of shit. Like I was probably the most honorable dude doing drugs, like like in that whole group. Like I was the only one that had a job. I was the one that they would like, hey, I'll pay you back on Friday. Like they knew I was good for it. I never stole from anybody. I never had to start lying to my family and went missing or no shit like that. Like I handled my shit, didn't miss work. Like I got it done. So I think integrity in and of itself, I kind of had maybe a little more of that than some of those guys did. But
you get robbed of that though when you're in it for too long, so you probably weren't far away, from being next.
I mean, I had my house broken into, and they got my laptop, my Xbox. They got a bunch of phones I had up in the closet because I would like, since I worked for a cell phone company, towards the end I would have cell phones I would buy and resell. So like they knew where all my stuff was at. Someone broke in and got me pretty good. You just kind of realize, but it's also that thing too, right? So it's on the same boat as like, let's say we've all had drinking friends that you go out and you party with. But once the partying stops, you don't really see them anymore. That was kind of the same way. You realize a lot of these dudes would kind of just show up because they knew you had the money. They knew you could buy some pills. They might get cut in on a pill with you or something, So kind of weeded them out pretty quick. And then on top of that, like I joined the gym not too long after that too. So it was like new people. The gym itself is like just a whole new group of social things to be involved in.
Yeah. Kind of back on that carnivore kick a little bit, back on the carnivore diet. You mentioned maybe still counting calories and paying attention to your macros. So is that something that you do? And then also while you're on the carnivore diet, you're counting calories. And then additionally, how have the habits changed? Like it sounds to me like you mentioned cooking something in an air fryer. Sounds like you're cooking all your own meals. I realize that when you do macros, you might do some meal prep, but my experience, I think Nsima's experience as well has been like, we don't really, we never meal prep. Like we don't have, we don't have Tupperware, we're not doing anything like that. If we eat breakfast, we'll just cook it ourselves. If we eat dinner, we'll just cook it ourselves. We do a lot of fasting and stuff like that. What's been your experience? What's your days look like?
Well, I'm pretty big on cooking. Like I love to cook first off. And with everything I do, I'm always like right here in my crib. So I always have access to my kitchen. So
nice. I'm
always big on like, like when I was in Ohio, I wasn't able to track or log anything really, because like you can only do so much when you're going to restaurants and stuff, which my go-to while I was out and about, I would get, we go to these restaurants that I would get 2 half-pound burgers with blue cheese and bacon on them. Now I don't do dairy, like if it's just me cooking, but if I was out, I figured there's a way to get cheap fat, because eating carnivore out at a restaurant is expensive to get all your food in, especially on OMAD. So I'm like these $50 meals, you know what I mean? But I would do 2 burgers with blue cheese and bacon on them. Then I would get, usually I try to get at least a pound of like grilled chicken on the side. And then I would get a side of blue cheese dressing, just kind of up my fats a little bit. But I did that same meal every single day I was in Ohio. But if I'm here and I'm home, like I said earlier, my big thing lately has been OMAD, but 6 eggs, pound, 4 ounces of chicken thighs, and a pound of 85/15 ground beef. And I cook. So for one, I like to save money. So I cook as many of my meals as I can because I know for 100% that gets me to my macros, gets me to my goal. But two, I mean, saves money. Really, I mean, I can eat. I can eat for like $8.50 a day. So with my current setup, which isn't bad.
That's cool. Have you shot a video talking about that?
So funny thing is, actually, I'm in the middle of editing one right now.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
That video,
I mean, that's great.
Yeah. So that video will come out. Hopefully, I can get it out because Friday my new album drops, and that video. I'm trying to coincide it all to where like that the video can be promo too for the drop of the new project. Right. So, but yeah, as far as calories go, though, when I first came into this diet, so I was big on the zero carb subreddit. I was just kind of reading people's experiences on this diet, which, by the way, for anybody listening, zero carb subreddit is a pretty terrible source of information. I hate that community. Super toxic. Can't stand them. Bunch of goofy people over there, man. I've read some of the goofiest shit I've ever read in my life on the zero carb subreddit.
Yeah.
Those people don't believe calories count at all. Like this dude was like, I read this story that made me want to blow my brains out. This dude was like 315 pounds, right? And he's like, well, I'm eating 3 pounds of ground beef a day. I'm having all this cheese. Like, I'm not losing any weight. And I feel tired. Like, you need to up your fat. You need to eat more. I'm like, no. If this dude ain't leave, his goal is to lose weight, right? And he's eating all this crazy shit. like, no. Then fucking stupid people. Yeah, I got banned from that subreddit, by the way. Man, I got banned. But so when I first started this diet, my big thing was like I'm reading all this shit on there, and they're like, you don't have to track your calories, just go off your hunger and all that stuff. And so I wasn't tracking my calories, just kind of eating meat, eating whatever. And I started the diet initially, and I dropped down to like I think I was at 192 and dropped down to like 185 pretty quick, like water weight, glycogen, all that. And then I was kind of like, all right, well, I'm just gonna kind of eat whatever. And the more I did that, I was kind of slowly gaining weight and getting a little bit chubbier. I was getting bigger, but I was definitely putting on size. And I was like, okay. So I kind of wanted to switch to this so I didn't have to track anything. I'm like, but let me just kind of plug this in. Let me play with my numbers and get them to where like I would normally start like a shred at, right? Which for me is about 2,200 calories a day. It's usually a good place for me to start. So I adjusted my macros to there. I want to say right now I'm at, what am I at? Like 238 grams of protein a day and 130 grams of fat. And that has been perfect for me. I do like to have a little more protein and a little less fat. Just for me personally, I'm still experimenting, so I don't really know what works best. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's where I've been every single day that I'm in control of it. And my goal here moving forward. So I just got really, really shredded, but I was in the best shape of my life on a standard American bodybuilding diet. So veggies, carbs, all that stuff. And I was eating a pound of vegetables a day. Was miserable as shit. Could not hold on to that shape because I was so miserable. Led to an eating disorder right after, binge eating per usual. So my goal this time right now, I'm on this, now that I'm back, I'm locked in. My goal is I want to get in even better shape this time around, but keep it strictly carnivore. So for at least the next, I've been on 30 days, so at least 60 more days, I know that I'll be 100% carnivore because my goal is to be, I know it can be done. I feel too good. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I know I can get that shredded. I know I can get that big. So that's the goal moving forward.
What some of the science will show, what's very hard to overeat on is protein. If you look up the work from Dr. Jose Antonio, he's done some extensive work on, protein consumption, and they've had people eat upwards of 800 extra calories from protein and still not gain weight or still have a hard time gaining weight. So people out there, I think that's what they're getting confused about. You can't eat whatever you want. You can't eat as much as you want. But if you're able to overeat on anything, it would possibly be protein. So for yourself, if you just ate an additional 100 grams of protein, you could potentially, keep your body fat levels similar, the same. And one could even argue that maybe it would improve because it costs a lot to even consume and digest protein, So I think that's where the confusion is. And, just because I don't like counting calories. I don't think it's a practice that is necessary. However, they still count. They still matter.
100%.
It's still 100%. It's still a representation. There's still, and I don't even agree with how calories are even measured in the first place. Like burning stuff outside of your body, I think it's a bunch of bullshit. But having said all that, food still does represent a certain amount of energy, and you 100%. Have to adhere to that. Like no one gets a free ride or a free pass to just pretend that doesn't exist. I think that's where people are kind of getting confused.
Well, that's the like the thermic effect of food. I read this thing once and it said that protein is like, even though it's, technically considered 4 calories a gram, you really like, it's about 2.5 of that is what your body actually uses because it is so hard for it to break down.
Right.
But, we're on this zero carb subreddit where like I'm reading shit like, so normally I have eggs and bacon for breakfast. I used to take my toast and sop it up that way, but I don't have toast now. How do I sop up all my stuff? I'm like, Jesus Christ. But yeah. So, and then fat on the opposite end of that spectrum, thermic effect is like every calorie of fat is like 100% utilized by the body. So I think that if I was eating, which is kind of why, like, I feel like that's why my diet right now is tailored a little less towards a lot of fat, a little more towards the protein, is because I'm trying to get a little bit of that benefit. And I will say, I've definitely put on, definitely strength, but muscle size. I feel like, at least I feel like I'm definitely the biggest I've ever been at the leanest considering my weight. So like I said, the goal is stretch this cutout, man. Do what I would normally do on a regular diet, except do it on carnivore. And because like for real, this diet, I mean, even if like everything else I talked about minus the shoulder pain was placebo, right? Maybe if I'm just hyping this thing up and I'm reading too much on it, it's all been placebo, right? There is no placebo that is allowing me to, I mean, I went from not being able to do anything overhead shoulder, like even just with no weight hurt, to like the other day I was dropping out 225. Like, like how does that happen?
Right.
Like that's my thing.
That's awesome. And I think other people just based off of that should give it a try. Like if their knee hurts or their shoulder hurts, what do they don't have anything to lose? It's not dangerous.
Well, and another benefit too, I didn't even mention earlier, is I've struggled with acne my whole life. It's always been something I've struggled with. And it went away a lot until I got on TRT. And then it's almost like I could count on it. Like at any one given time, I'd have a big pimple somewhere on my face, right? Mm-hmm. Since starting this diet, my complexion is the smoothest it's ever been. And I haven't had a new pimple, knock on simulated plastic. I haven't got a new pimple since. So this diet, I mean, it almost sounds like, because I was like, shit, when I was out drinking, I was obviously when you're drinking, people, ask you about stuff. And I was getting asked about the carnivore diet. And I kept having to say, like, I hate to feel like, one of those like televangelist preachers, on stage talking about this diet, but this shit is working. Like something is happening that I've never gotten to happen with any other diet I've ever done. So like I said, I could see myself literally doing this for, I mean, it's almost like taking like if someone told you they give you a pill every day that made your shoulder better and made your acne better and, made you like, and even then when I have my cheat meals on Saturday nights, used to be my cheat meals would be like 10,000 calories probably. And that's no lie. That's no lie towards the end when it gets real bad. But on this, it's like I just eat and I'm just like, all right, that was good. Here we go. Like
people try to do so many different things for their skin. Especially we see it a lot with females. They got all these skincare routines and stuff, and a lot of it just has to do with them putting on makeup. Like if you don't put on makeup in the first place, you probably don't need to spend a ton of time on skincare products and washing your face and worrying about your pores and all these different things. But a lot of people just don't understand it's really just as simple as making some dietary changes, and you start eating junk food, that's going to elicit. I mean, that's why, teenagers are going through a lot of different things. They have this cascade of hormones, but that's when you start to see a lot of kids start to really eat like crazy, and their hunger levels go up. You're seeing a lot of kids eat more cereal and more junk is kind of through those, ages like, I don't know, 10 to like 15 or so is like that kind of pocket where you see kids eating really unhealthy. And it's like, well, yes, you have hormones and you probably can't prevent all the acne that you're going to get, but you can prevent almost all of it through some good sound nutrition.
And I wish that some of this information was available. I guess the internet wasn't even really a super big thing when I was a kid, but like to be able to like, if I'd have known it, I mean, acne was like the most traumatizing thing I went through as a kid. And right when the acne went away, I went bald. So, it was like, geez, just put this dude in the guillotine growing up, man. But like if I'd have known as a kid, because I was desperate to try anything. I did every cream. I did every like whatever. But like no one ever once was like, hey, you think it's your diet? Mm-hmm. And I never had it. If I'd have known all this as a kid, me and my friends play this game. Like, all right, so if you could go back in time to like senior year and you knew everything you knew now, would you do it? I'm like, yeah, we'd have to. We'd have to give all this stuff up. I'm like, well, I feel like that's a no-brainer. I think you'd have to.
Another benefit that I want to see if we can dig on a little bit, and I think it's something I've never really heard anybody talk about before. Is like you said that you used to smoke cigarettes and then you stopped doing that, but then you were doing dip or something, not
chew or dip,
chew, and you said that after you started going on the diet, your want to do that went away. So I feel like cigarettes is something that a lot of people want to quit and have a tough time quitting, and a lot of people resort to dip, but they also usually want to quit that, but they can't. So can you talk us through that a little bit and tell us like what you've seen, what's happened?
Yeah. So my dip problem got pretty bad, especially like when I'm dieting. I would get to this point where like you want something kind of just like in your mouth, you know, if that, like you just want it in there. You want that.
Hey now,
you want that oral stimulation. So I'd get to this point, man, where I mean, I was going through probably a can and a half of pouches a day. So you buy like 15 pouches in a can, throw it in, and therein the addiction lies. But like I had done this for, man, it had been probably 3 to 4 years. And I even had a mushroom trip where I'm like in the middle of tripping balls on mushrooms and I'm looking at my can of dip and I go, I will never quit you because I love you so much. So I didn't think I was ever going to quit or had a reason to quit. Right? No, true story, man. True story. So, fucking like I started this whole carnivore thing, and me and my girlfriend have been talking because she's been smoking cigarettes for a while. We're both like, man, we always talk about quitting. We could go a few days, but like you would get so angry and so just like hate life that you would always hop right back on it. And I won't say that it like took the cravings away completely, and it was just like I was able to just drop it and there was no, mic drop and I walked away. It wasn't quite like that, but whatever in the past always made me go back to it. On this time with this diet, it was almost like I said, maybe it's the fact that my mood is more leveled out, or my cravings for sugar and kind of my craving impulses in general are greatly diminished. But it was just, it just wasn't hard, and I'm 6. I haven't had nicotine in, about 4 or 5 weeks, something like that. But it just made it way simpler to just give it up. And this is a habit I smoked cigarettes in high school. I smoked cigarettes when I first started fitness. Then I quit doing cigarettes because I thought it looked trashy. So I switched to something that wasn't as trashy, And then I went from the loose leaf dip to the pouches because I was on camera a lot. So I didn't want dip in my mouth, like stuck to my teeth. And I don't know, it's something I never really thought I would ever give up. And it just like, now it's like I don't even care about it. Like, and my buddy came and stayed with me, and he's a big dipper. He was dipping around me the whole time. Never once was I like, man, I could use one of those right now. I could have cared less about it. And that's, like I said, it's been a habit I've had for, man, since I was a kid.
Wow.
I think with the name Remington James, you could have went country. But what made you decide, like, have you always been a fan of hip hop? How'd you get into rap?
100%, man. 100% been a fan of hip hop. Dude, so when I just graduated high school. So I guess it would say it started, I've always been a hip hop fan. Coming from like the whitest city in America, like Southern Logan, Ohio, dude, just nothing but jacked up diesel trucks and rebel flags, man, literally, and spurs and truck nuts, dude. But I always loved hip hop. That's like the only music I really ever listened to. It's about all I listen to now. And I remember it was my we'd be on the football bus in high school, and like we would have like rap battles and freestyles. It was all terrible, but we always like fantasized. That was right around when the 8 Mile came out, and it made it seem really cool to be like the rapper and the freestyler and all that. And then it was my senior year. I graduated high school, and then it was like my first year after high school. I had expressed it that I wanted to try rap music. Right, I was going to try it. I remember I think I had put some demos out or something, posted about it online, and I just got shit on by everybody that knew me. Every single person shit all over me, and it terrified me. You know what I mean? And then so you delete everything, and then you go into like a hermit crab shell for some months, and you're like, am I ever going to recover from this? Ever? And then so I put it to the back burner. Still a big, massive hip hop fan, And then fast forward to, what was that? It was actually my first project dropped a year ago, January 17th. Man, how much time's gone by? So yeah, about 13 months ago, my first project dropped. So about, I would say 20 months before that, I was kind of just sitting there one day, and I have some friends that live close by that had just dropped one of their music projects, and they were like, and then we were kind of talking about it, and I was like, what? Like, I've always wanted that, and I let people beat me down about it in the past, and now is easier than ever to make music, as it's easier to make video, easier to make content. I'm like, why couldn't I just put together a little project? You know, I have a fan base. I have people that'll mess with it. Even if it's garbage, I'll have some people that'll mess with it. I'm like, why don't I just do that? And that'll be like a bucket list childhood thing, like dropped off, you know, my list. So I bought all the equipment. I bought everything. I taught myself how to do every aspect of it, and fully recorded my whole first project and put it out. And then, you know, it actually went way better than it had any right to go. I think I impressed a lot of people because I like, you know, I think that when it comes to being artistic and creating something that people are consuming, you have to have like a certain level of intelligence to know if your own shit's trash. Right?
Yes.
It may not be like my exact genre, like my exact sound and my genre may not be for everybody, obviously. We all have different musical tastes, but you got to know when your shit's trash, like not good. You ever heard like someone's music? They're like, I'm making music and it's not even on beat or on key. Like it's hard to listen to. It clashes.
Yeah.
Right? So I think I impressed a lot of people by not coming out the gate and sounding like everybody else that I went to high school with that tried to rap, you know, for one. But two, yeah, I just I love it. I love it. It's not I mean, it's not like I make a ton of money off of it or anything. I want to say like all said and done, it was like I kind of didn't do too bad, but it wasn't anything crazy. But yeah, it's just something I love to do. It's more like I love fitness, I love the dieting, I love the YouTube, I love all that. But it's almost like that thing on the side that I can kind of like unplug from all of this stuff and be maybe a little more expressive, a little more artsy, and just create music that you know, that I like, and that my little tiny little fan base. I think we had definitely over 1 million streams, and I want to say it was something like 5,000 people actually purchased the $10 project.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So
so I have like a nice little fan base, right? So everybody's looking forward to the next one, and I'm actually this time I went with I don't know if you guys, you probably ever heard of Little Skies.
No.
I have not. No.
Okay, he's a new up and coming rapper, but this time I have his mixing engineer with which basically they take your vocals, take the instrumentation, they kind of mix it all up so it sounds the best it can sound. I actually got him. He's actually won I think he's a platinum mix engineer. He's actually mixed this whole project. So we're waiting. He's got one little tweak on the final song, and I'm hoping he can do it today. And if he can, hopefully it comes out this Friday.
Sick.
But
If you could collab with anybody, who would it be? Alive?
Lil Wayne.
Who?
Lil Wayne.
Lil Wayne. Yeah, no
100%.
kidding, right?
100%.
What do you
Lil
like?
Wayne,
What do you like about Lil Wayne so much?
okay, so nowadays, I don't think he's as good as he used to be. He was in his prime when I was graduating high school. When the Carter 3 was coming out, he had the Drought series of mixtapes. He was on fire. He had a record for a while. He had the most features of any artist in a year. And it was like, there was that time frame, I want to say it was between like maybe 2008 to like 2011, 2012, where he was on like every song. Didn't matter what genre it was. He was on it. And he pioneered that modern rap sound that everybody's listening to now. That auto-tune, that more melodic, that more half singing, half rapping sound. Like, he pioneered that sound. So in his run, man, his work ethic. When he was, I remember, if you were a Lil Wayne fan, like a hardcore Wayne fan, he would put out like, he had Carter 1, Carter 2, and then Carter 3 was what really blew him up. But like, in between that, though, because he had the Carter 4 come out, but like in between that, if you were a hardcore fan, he always had a mixtape for you to listen to all the time. So we're in college. We got nothing else to do but go to class and get high and party. So me and my buddies would just like, oh, Wayne dropped a new mixtape. And we would just party to it and memorize every word, every lyric. And he was just like an idol, like huge idol. So Lil Wayne, 100%, man. 100%.
I love that documentary they have on him, and like the record company bought him like a Phantom or something like that. And he doesn't even care. They're like, you want to take a picture with it? He's like, okay, and he like stands next to it and he just keeps walking. Like, does not care at all.
Yeah, you know, that was actually an eye-opening documentary because I didn't watch that. I don't think the documentary came out until like years after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
And you're watching it, you're like, okay, like I was a kid, like idolizing this man, still do, but like you didn't realize a lot of that was drug fueled.
Oh yeah. He's a savage too. I mean, he like the stuff that he says is really weird. Like he's like, I don't write anything down because I don't want anybody to like copy my shit. And I don't, you know, he like doesn't even want to have like a paper trail of it. But then you're like, well, how do you come up with such crazy stuff? I mean, I really always admired him for the risks that he takes. The stuff that he says in his songs and stuff are wild. Like I don't think another rapper could even copy him and have it come out even halfway decent.
Yeah, he is. Some of his like double entendres and some of the like the deepness of some of his lyrics at times. That's what we admired from him. We were like, oh, did you like the way he would connect all these bars together and would tell this like story? Yeah, his wordplay. Like I always wondered that too. How was he able to do that in the studio, like off the top of his head? You know,
he's a fucking genius. I think. I mean, honestly.
Yeah, because I mean, so my whole first project, I didn't write like at all for it. I did the same thing, but it wasn't. I mean, I'm not quite the output though. You know what I mean? It wasn't quite the same thing as what Lil Wayne was doing. I mean, sometimes I'd be sitting here and I would try to go line by line, and I would like it might take me a couple hours to figure out how I'm going to transition to the next thing. But apparently, he's going in and knocking out songs in like 20 minutes.
How different was it? How different was it just trying to rap and then actually going to the studio and recording something?
Oh my gosh! So first off, it looks and sounds easy to do, but it's way harder than you would ever imagine. So hard. Like I remember when I started, because I had made my mind up that I was going to do it. And I'm like, all right, like you are doing this no matter what. Whew, and those first few months were rough because like I didn't even know the concept of like the tempo of a beat or how to even rap on beat or what it meant to rap on beat or what it meant to have a rhyme scheme or what melody even really was. I had no idea. So I would start and I would write like this verse I thought was good in my phone. Then I'm trying to like read it into the microphone and it just sounds like I'm reading into a microphone. And you're trying to figure out like, okay, like, and then what do you even rap about? Like I meal prep protein today. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like what am I supposed to talk about? So it's definitely harder than you think. And then, and then trying to like share that with an audience that follows you for fitness. I had some backlash over that for sure.
Let me ask
100%.
Yeah. Where do you draw your inspiration for your music? Cause I remember I think it's Cali Muscle back in the day, I don't know, like a few years ago. And I heard some of it. I was like, oh, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But, where does your inspiration come from for your music?
I would say, obviously I'm big fan of Lil Wayne, but the sound's changed a lot since then. Probably Young Thug, Lil Baby, Gunna, Roddy Ricch.
Gotcha.
I would say I'm very, very influenced by like that new sound. Like if you listen to my stuff, it's like I drown it in effects. I drown it in auto-tune. I'm trying to have that like that Travis Scott type sound to it.
See. Okay.
Especially my first project. This new one is a little cleaner. As far as like my first one, I mixed it all myself, so there's a lot of shit clashing.
Nice.
But this new one's a little cleaner. But yeah, that's like my sound. But then also too, though, like I think it's easy to box yourself in. I would say it's the same with anything. If you're trying to do YouTube and you watch another YouTube or whatever, it's so easy to like. At first, I think you have to find someone you gravitate towards that you can try to like almost emulate to like figure out your way. But then at some point though, you kind of find your own sound. So like more than ever on like this next project, like I really found my sound. So if there's one thing I'm proud of is like no one sounds like me.
Nice.
Right now. And my first and song number 1 on this project is made to blow everybody's heads off, and it's. It's way better than it has any right to be. I don't know how I did this, but it's way better than it has any right to be for sure.
I like what you're saying there because that's important for people to understand. They might be like super shy about trying something because they're like, man, I'm kind of like copying this person. But that's the way anybody gets started.
100%
is you kind of need to copy, and YouTube's actually a great example of that. And it can give you confidence. You don't want to like rip people off, right? But you do kind of need to. Imitate. You do need to imitate somebody because how the hell are you ever going to get started? I imitated Louis Simmons and Dave Tate and some of these influencers in West Side Barbell and strength training, and that's how I got started. The words that came out of my mouth were their words. That's how you get going. That's how you get traction. And then as I went along and as people would ask questions, their words kind of started to become my own because then I started to have some of my own thoughts surrounding it. But it takes a long time to kind of find your voice. I commend you on that. That's stuff's really hard. It's hard. It's very difficult to do. And, it's good to see people take risk, even if it's cringeworthy, even if you watch it and you're like, I made a rap video a few years ago, and I still get, I've made a few $1,000s off of a rap video. It's on iTunes. It's called Meathead Millionaire. And it was fun. It was just fun. Like, I've always been into rap. I never thought I would like try to rap, but I just was like, fuck it. Like, this is fun. I would do it before a lot of videos that we shot. A lot of videos I would shoot, these power project videos where I'd answer a question about strength. And I would just put like a little rhyme in front of it. A lot of times it started out being something I listened to from Lil Wayne or from somebody else.
Yep.
And then a couple of times I was like, well, why don't I just see if I can make up some of my own, And I did. And it was fun. And when I actually went into a studio, though, to record it, it was fucking hard.
Oh,
The guy's like, you don't hear that? Like, he's like, it comes in. He's like, it's the third, like, like that little noise right there. And I'm like, so he's like, try it again. He's like, you came in way too early. I could try the next one. He's like, you came in way too late. I'm like, and then he's like rapping these lines and he's like fucking killing it. And I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I don't think I'll ever sound like that. Like, he's just crushing it. He doesn't know the song at all, but he's like mimicking it and just destroying it. And here I am, like, I cannot get like on point the way this guy was. I was like, shit, I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, that's the whole timing thing. That's why I said like that, like, you learn what the timing of the song is. Like, now I can hear a beat, and if I hear it for even 30 seconds, I have a pretty rough idea of what that timing is. My head knows, and I can freestyle gibberish on it, and it'll fit. Right. Before, I didn't know how, like, where do you jump in? How do I transition into that? Mm-hmm. Like, yeah, that was, and like back to what you said about, having to like mimic somebody almost, or look to people for inspiration. Like, that is literally how everybody that does anything nowadays, unless you're inventing something from the ground up, and even then it's probably based on something else. Like, you have to draw inspiration from somewhere. Yeah. And with anything, the more you do it and the more time you put into it, like if I showed you my first song I ever did, you'd listen and you could tell I'm trying as hard as I can. For sure. I'm trying super hard. But like certain parts of it would like, it'd take you out. You'd be like, whoa, okay, that didn't fit there. That wasn't here. But the more I did it, like my first project especially, like you can hear from the first songs I did all the way to the end of them, because I ended up putting like every song other than like my first 3 on that project. You can hear the ones I recorded at the end, at the beginning, just the improvement. And I think as long as you're willing to do your research and practice, put the reps in, like you can become pretty damn proficient at just about anything you're trying to do. I just think most people give up too soon, or they're not willing to take that time that it actually takes to actually develop a skill. Or like, even when it comes to getting lean, like I'll work with clients a lot, and this is the biggest thing I see. If I'm working with a client on like a 12-week program, a lot of them can do pretty good the first 4 weeks, but it's that 8 and that 12 where the sharp drop off happens. It's like people are like, oh, I just can't do this no more. But if you push through that though, because in the first 4 weeks of any cut I do, I'm never shredded. I might be looking pretty good, but most people get to that point where like, ooh, that wasn't too hard. And it's, they kind of just give up. And I think like with anything, even this, how long has this podcast been around? It probably took you guys a few episodes to get, the wheels greased and turning.
What's any like larger goals with rapping? Like, would you like to try to go on tour and like anything like that in your head?
I mean, yeah, I think I would love to, but I have to. I had to kind of sit down and figure out like what's the smart move financially, to put all my. Now, if I dropped this project and I had a song go somewhat viral and I thought there was real potential for it, then I think you got to kind of follow the stars, how they align. I'm not a big, I won't say I'm not like super religious, but I definitely believe in like, there's kind of like something at play here. Like at certain times in my life when, like, I feel like certain doors have opened for me that like, I can't really just chalk to like chance, you know what I mean? Or like certain paths have been lit up for me, and things have always, I don't even think I'm really that lucky. I just think that I've been open to so many things that like, and I'm good at seeing opportunities when they come up. So I kind of just follow my gut. So if music seemed like it was going good and I started like to where I could, because right now fitness is my number one moneymaker, right? And everything I do revolves around fitness. That's a hard sell to get people to like take my fitness and convert over to music. Like that fan base doesn't translate that well. Like I can't just be like, hey guys, I know you guys like me. Do you want to come see me perform at a show? I might get some people, but like I would say the majority of my audience is I have a slightly older audience too, like late 20s, and I have a lot of people like 30s, 40s, 50s that watch my content just for diet advice. So
what about a new YouTube channel or new Instagram? Have you thought of anything like that just to kind of
Yeah, I mean, I try my best to keep them tight. I do have a music YouTube channel, but that's another thing too. I probably need to hire somebody because like between me shooting all my own videos, editing all my own videos, doing all my own photos, we have our supplement company and our apparel company that we run. I do all the graphic work and designs for and everything. I handle all my own coaching, so I got to get up at 4:30 in the morning to deal with clients. I think I had to write 11 client plans today.
Damn.
So it's like, yeah. So I'm constantly going. So it's the thought of having to add even more to my plate just makes my like. And then I'm trying to train, cook all my meals.
I'll solve your problems for you right now. Hire somebody.
Yeah.
Probably hire more than one person. It will help a lot. You'll make a lot more money. So hire people.
Well, the problem was, man, I hired somebody about a few years back. And, I won't mention his name on here, but people maybe I'm too nice, you know what I mean? And it was kind of a buddy, but I let myself get taken advantage of pretty bad. Pretty bad. And so since I moved here, it's been tough. And that too, I just moved to Houston about 4 months ago. So I'm like still meeting people, figuring out who I can trust, who's just trying to be friends with me because I'm a YouTuber and they can get something, or who's really like there. So I'm kind of flying solo right now. But like I said, man, opportunities present themselves. And when they do, I'll take advantage of it. But I'm just, after getting, pretty taken advantage of last time, I'm kind of like, iffy.
Don't give up on people, man. There's good people out there. You'll get someone good to help you.
Yeah,
keep the faith,
meet them.
Yeah, we have a good team over here, so I highly recommend. Yeah, try to bring some people in. It will help you. It'll help you be able to expand, and you'll be able to concentrate on more stuff that you want to focus on.
Yeah, and that's my biggest thing is finding the time for certain things. There's a lot I'd love to do. My brain's I always want to. I wish I could work more on music. I would love, instead of being a year between projects, I'd love to make that 4 months.
You can,
but
you will. Hire it'll help. I'm telling you.
Did as far as the rapping is concerned, you said you were always interested in the music, but were you one of those people like Snoop Dogg says that he's just able to come up with rhymes and he's a kid like that and they just came to him? But then I don't know, were you someone who had to like really work and think about this type of stuff?
Yeah. So the weird part is like if I'm laying in bed at night and I'm just like kind of that halfway between falling asleep and awake, my brain can just go forever with rhymes. But my problem is that when I'm actually in the studio and I'm doing my thing, like I overthink it so bad. I'm like, is this corny? Like, am I allowed to say this? Or I don't know. That's my biggest problem. The thing that gets in my way now is that I'm a chronic overthinker when it comes to my lyrics. So I'm always like, is that good enough? Is that, bad enough? Am my mom would get mad at me for saying that? But here lately though, things are working way better. I wouldn't say I'm definitely no lyrical genius by any means, but it's just, and so much of music is a vibe, right? Like the intro song on my new project, I did it all in one day and it was all freestyle off the top of my head, but it was like, it's almost like when it came time for that next bar, they were just there in my head. It was almost like someone was feeding me, just here's what you do. Then other times, if I'm a little tired or I'm balls deep in a cut and I'm just like shredded, but like miserable, I'm just in here like, what in the fuck? Like I just can't even put like a thought together. So yeah, it's definitely it's definitely like if the vibes are good, some of the best music I've made is when I have a few buddies in here and we're just drinking, kind of, chilling, having a good time. And it's like you feel real good. But if you're stressed out trying to make music from that place, it's not the best.
It's really cool you say that though, because I know a lot of people, a lot of your reviewers were probably interested in something of that, and they just think it's not something they could do because they're not a natural. A lot of people think they need to be a natural to do things like this. But like it's not like I'm not saying you're not a natural or anything. Like rhymes and stuff do come to you, but you still got to put more thought into it than someone who. You hear stories about like Jay-Z and Snoop and they're just like, it just came to them out of nowhere.
Oh, 100%. It's, I don't think, even I would say, quote unquote, you're people that are naturals that are just really good at something off rip. They're never going to beat the expert unless they put the time in. What was that Phil Heath quote? He said something like talent beats, or hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I always loved that quote. Cause it's like, there's people that I've been around and there's guys that like, I was talking about my guys earlier that do hip hop and stuff, old friends, they were like inspiration. Like a lot of those dudes have so much freaking talent, man. And I know bodybuilder dudes from back home have so much talent, but they don't do anything with it, or they're lazy, or they're letting, you know, the partying get in the way. And it's like I said, it's time, man. Like this stuff here, like to get my YouTube channel to where it was and to be able to be like self-employed and have all this stuff going on. Like it wasn't easy. It was a grind, man. It was, you know, doubting myself a lot of the time, shooting videos with no idea what was going to happen, or, you know, editing videos and sitting there going, this is terrible. This is awful. I hate this video, and still putting it out, you know, and putting up with the criticism of like, trying to put out music and then having like people shit on it before they've ever even heard a word. They're shitting on it because, you know, I'm Remington James Fitness, you know, like that's the only reason. So a lot of it, man, is, you know, because it's easy to think you reach this point in life where like I have people come up to me and they'll be like, man, like I wish I had what you had. You got it made. And maybe it's like, I don't know, in my brain, it's hard for me to see it that way because things are never good enough, you know? And I'm always like, you know, where I'm at now, like, you know, it's nice to, that was what was cool about Molly over the weekend. I was appreciative of where I was at in life. I was like, this is nice, man. Look what we did. But, you know, but for the most part, it's hard to be content, you know? So, maybe that's something too, intrinsically that, comes with, like long-term success, you know, and trying to be, is that you got to kind of have this thing in you that's, enough's never enough. I remember saying that like, if I hit 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, it would just like, I would just be in this euphoric state forever, you know, and I'm coming up on 500,000 and I'm like, that's not enough. Now I'm like, I need 1 million or I'm failing. You know what I mean? So I think you got to have that mindset with, you know, I don't think you have to have that necessarily, but I think that striving always in everything you're doing is, I don't know, that's kind of been what keeps me going. I mean, there's days I wake up and I'm like, the last thing I want to do is sit at this computer, edit a video, shoot a video, do anything like that. Yeah. But just, you got to, man, you know? Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's really hard to, like interpret, you know? You have nearly 500,000 subscribers, you know, and you think that it somehow means you're doing a better job if you had 1 million or if you had 2 million, you know, and then it somehow quantifies that you're doing a bad job when you get a shitty comment. You know, somebody says something about you rapping, you automatically think that you're bad at rapping, or you automatically, you know, you automatically think that you're bad at making videos. Like that cooking video sucked, man. Like you burnt your whatever, and you're like, yeah, all right, man. You know, but like a lot of times these things they'll weigh on you. But you know, I think trying to figure out like why and how much, you know, that it's not an easy thing to do, but to try to go over it in your head a little bit, you know, makes a lot of sense. Like what would 1 million followers do? You know, when I think about my own Instagram and stuff like that, my Instagram is not in any real correlation to my business. So, you know, does it really matter a ton for the Instagram to continue to grow? It's kind of like more fun than anything else. You know, it doesn't seem like it's helping, you know, rack the dollars up for the company more. That doesn't mean that I don't do it. That doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it. It just means that does it make sense for me to spend a lot of time there, because maybe my time could be better well spent in other spaces, in other places, so I can continue to get my message out in different ways, and or help expand the company, help the company make more money, because if the company makes more money, the employees can make more money, provide more opportunities for other people, get more information out to more fans, and provide more value to fans and customers and things like that. Well, let me ask you a question then. How come, and maybe you can tell me how you deal with this, how come we can read 100 good comments and it doesn't really do much for us, but that one bad one is the one that like sticks to you like a tattoo? Yeah, I think it's just all interpretation. You know, I think it's a bad interpretation of like, this means I'm doing a bad job, you know, and you somehow interpret it as being so negative, but you could interpret it a bunch of different ways. I mean, sometimes people make a comment about me and it makes me laugh because I'm like, actually, that was pretty good. Like they fucking burned me. Like that was right. That was legit, you know. You know, they make fun of you or say something you did was stupid or whatever, but it's really just an interpretation. And I think if you're to take a step back and you were to try to give a comment to a friend that was going through something like that had someone make some horrific comment to them that really bothered them, you'd probably just, the first thing you'd say is like, that guy doesn't know you.
You know, like this is absolutely insane. This is absolutely ridiculous. Why are you worried about someone across the country who doesn't know anything about you? He thinks you're some rich asshole, but like, do you feel like you're a rich asshole? Do your friends feel that way? Like, is there a lot more information out there about you being a rich asshole or whatever the situation would be? And there's probably just not, and you probably don't feel that way. So I think we are under the impression that people can make you feel a certain type of way, and they really can't. It's your interpretation. It goes through a filtering system in your head. And sometimes we're not smart enough or calm enough or philosophical enough to filter it into a place of like, oh, okay. You know, that guy thinks I do this just to make money. Okay, that's okay, fine. Sounds okay to me. Fuck it. You know?
Well, that's one thing that I kind of went through this like crazy up and down with was at first I let that negativity bother me so much. Like it took such a toll on me. Even reading a comment that wasn't even like bad per se, just even like the slightest critique would bother me. And then I found myself for a minute, I would be like addressing comments in the next video. Then it would lead to more. And I went on this like battle with my comment section there for a minute of these few select people that were like kind of trolls I had. And so it was all right around my hip hop project dropping. Cause I was like, y'all don't think I'm going to do this? I got it. And when people would say something, I'd like clap back. And after dropping the project, and what I've learned the most about like that stuff is that it's like it's real, but it's not real. Like I can shut all that shit off. I can look outside. The birds are chirping. The pool's looking nice. You know, I can head down to the gym. Everybody in there's friendly and waves and says hi. And then like, you know, when you turn the internet on and you see that bad comment, like, what is that even? You know, it's like something we've never really had to deal with as a society where someone from across the globe can clap at you for no reason. And a lot of it too, I think Joe Rogan even said this, they call it like drive-by trolling. So people can like swoop in, leave a comment and they're out. They're just out before you even, you know, say anything. And then like you let it dwell on you for so long. Right. And then, you know, they forgot about it. They just did some shit real quick. So I guess if I had to give any advice to anybody out there, it's that, man, speaking from someone from experience, I cared so much about that stuff for a long time. And as soon as I quit caring about it and quit responding to it and quit like changing who I was because of a few bad comments, I get like no negativity now. And if I do, I don't even see it because I check my comments like right when the video comes in to make sure there wasn't like a, hey, your dick's out at frame 7. You know what I mean? Like to make sure there's no crucial mistake in the video.
Right.
Other than that, you know what I mean? I'm kind of just cool with it. And I quit caring and made it a lot better.
Yeah, everyone's always going to have an issue with what you say. And then the other thing that's helped me a lot is just to understand that no one has ever put out a message that had everybody understand the message the same way that you intended. It's actually like physically impossible. No one's ever been able to do it. Even stuff that may come from the Bible, there might be somebody that's like, you know, F religion. I don't believe in that shit or whatever, right? So it doesn't matter who it comes from, whether it's the Pope, whether it's the president, it could be anybody. If you say something, if you say, hey man, I only eat meat and I feel great, there could be people that are like, dude, vegetables ain't bad. And it's like, you want to go in the comments and say, I didn't say vegetables were bad, you fucking dick face. You know, but it doesn't really do any good because that person's they're just being inflammatory. You know, they're just trying to get a rise out of you somehow.
Maybe the coronavirus will come in and just cut a swath through those people.
That would be great.
You know, comment sections around the world clear up.
Yeah.
Highways clear up. This Houston traffic's terrible.
Dude, so. I like it. I think this is the making of a rhyme right here, of a rap.
Speaking of coronavirus, what are you guys' thoughts on it? Did you see a lot of masks at the airport or anything?
Yeah, we did. We saw a lot of that stuff. And it's my understanding there's like 400 something people died in Italy from it or something like that. So I don't know, man. I don't know what to think of it. It seems like it's becoming more and more real all the time. I don't know.
Yeah, so I've been following it pretty close myself, and you know, when I see people compare it to the flu, so the death rate right now, like with the numbers we have, so if 100 people get it, 3.4% of them die. So 3.4 you know, 3 to 4 people die. It's a hospitalization rate with severe interactions. It's like 1 in 5 people. So you know, I I don't think it's like going to be the end of the world or anything. I just think that when I see these people tweeting and putting stuff like the flu's killed more people, it's like, well, no shit. The flu has a foothold here. This thing is brand new.
Right.
And it's pretty, I don't know. I don't know if you guys seen any of the grocery store clearings out or anything yet in your area, but I think things are going to get a little wacky before they get better.
Yeah, I think just people are just like really just uneducated on a lot of things, but this being one of them. Like the guy next to me on our way back from Columbus, he had a mask on. I think he might have had gloves on too, but he has this mask on which doesn't do anything other than maybe prevent you from touching your mouth or something. Right. But as the drinks and snacks comes through, he's just like, oh yeah. So he's eating like a cookie, takes the mask off and he's using his hands to eat the cookie, and then he's like, yeah, let me get a soda, and he drinks the soda, and I'm like you understand you just broke the biggest line of defense that you have, which is your mouth, or biggest vulnerability by eating shit. And I'm just like, that mask only makes you look stupid right now. Like it's I'm just like, come on, man, like try a little bit.
Then he's eating a bunch of junk.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and that's the other part is like, just get healthy in general and you'll be fine, or at least you'll have a better chance of surviving.
Well, a few things actually. You said something really cool right there. Like you become really aware how much you touch your face when you like think about that, right? So if you have a mask on, you're going to touch your face less. And then something else, it's like that 3.4%. The coronavirus is just real. It's killing a lot of old people. Which I'm not saying that's a good thing, but if you look at the percentages of people that are dying between like 15 and 50, it's probably way less if they get it, right? So I'm not saying we shouldn't worry about it, but like more so we should keep up the precautions, but just keep your grandparents safe.
Eat steak and breathe through your nose and you'll be fine.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's never been a better reason to eat meat than right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where can people find out more about your rap album that's dropping?
Well, so if you follow me on Instagram at the Remington James, I'll definitely be posting when it's up. It'll be available on iTunes, Spotify, like literally anywhere you can listen to music, it's going to be there. So you don't got to buy it. There's no it'll be everywhere. You can stream that thing, do whatever you want to do. Really, my goal is just for people to hear it. That's really about it. And then a YouTube channel, Remington James Fitness. Type that in. I'll pop right up, and I'll have some videos. I'll probably be promoting that album for the next month or so. And carnivore content. We're locked in on carnivore. Nice. We got this carnivore shred coming, loads of content, and might have to check back in with you guys at the end of the shred and see how I did.
Would you be able to hit some sort of buttons on your end right there to give us a little small sample of the music, or would it be better just to share a link with us that we can hook to this podcast or something?
Woo! Well, let me see what I'm waiting on the full thing to come back. I don't even know what buttons I'd hit, brother.
Well, when you feel more confident about having a completed, 100% product, maybe you can just give us a small sample of it. We'll throw up 30 seconds of it at the end of this podcast or something like that. Yeah.
Perfect. Got you. Actually, I know what I'll send. Yeah. I will send you a snippet because I know I got something perfect.
Awesome, man.
Sick.
Yeah, because by the time this drops, your album will be out so people can have something to look forward to.
All right, perfect. Hell yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for spending some time with us today. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Hey, no problem, fellas. Good conversation. And to be honest, I watched a lot of your videos coming into this carnivore thing and took a lot of your advice and implemented it. And, I've watched the before I did steroids for the first time, the people at my gym had me watch your Bigger, Faster, Stronger documentary. And they're like, see, they ain't that bad. And I watched I'm like, well, part of it is kind of bad. You know what I mean? I was like, okay. But yeah, man, a big fan for real. You guys rock. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Catch you later, man.
See you, fellas.
All right.
Sweet, man. That was great.
That was dope.
Yo, he mentioned the televangelist thing about starting carnivore. Yo, I mean,
he gets so excited about it, right?
Yeah, but it's great that all those things happen for him, and it's just like there's gonna be some fucking person who's like, oh, he's a carnivore zealot or whatever. But like, look at how many things it fucking helped him with. There's no reason you shouldn't just give it a try. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially when he's talking about how much stuff he was able to give up, like with the the bad eating habits, but. The tobacco, whatever it is, the chew stuff.
It's even more, huge. It's even more powerful coming from a guy like him who had all those addictions.
Yeah,
because I don't know what it's like to smoke cigarettes. I don't know what it's like to fucking be addicted to other shit like that, right? And from a person that was really addicted to that type of stuff to be able to come off because of his diet, like shit, it's crazy.
Yeah, I also think, you know, he was talking about like eating as much as he wanted and gaining a little bit of fluff. What I wonder is, and I think that counting your calories can help you control it faster. But I think if he allowed himself to like literally eat as much as he wanted, that he would just kind of stop. He would just stop the behavior because he'd have more interest in weighing less and being leaner. And at some point, so you don't really need to necessarily count calories or count macros to come to that same conclusion of like, hey, like I'm getting down a little too much. You know, I'm eating a little too much, and I've noticed in the mirror and I've noticed on the scale that I'm gaining. So, you know, for people that are looking for something where they don't have to count, they don't have to track, I think Carnivore Diet is perfect for that. And I think that over a period of time, you're going to notice that you don't necessarily need to do that in order to get leaner and to get in better shape. Personally, for myself, I have continued to stay about the same weight, but I feel like I'm getting leaner. I notice like veins in my calves. I notice my legs, the shape of my legs. My legs are kind of like my go-to like indicator. You know, when I start seeing more development in the legs, you know, I'm like, oh shit, like it's continuing to work. It just happens to be super, super slow.
How about you, Andrew? What do you think is going to be happening? Any other diet changes other than adding in more meat?
No, just that. So obviously, you know, dropping the carbs down a lot to add more fat into the diet, which, you know, I'm pretty excited, especially after talking to Stan, just talking about like, you know, the fertility, libido, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's just stuff that when you're so hyper focused on like, I just want to look good, you kind of like, I don't care what else happens. Like, let's just follow this route. But then when he said that, I just kind of like, like, well, shit, I don't want to like focus on this one thing and all of a sudden it's like I can't get it, like, you know what I mean, like that
your dick don't work.
Yeah, like that'd fucking suck. So or it wouldn't suck. It wouldn't get anyways. Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to finish that sentence.
Yeah, so I can finish it for you.
Yeah, but wait, that and then maybe see a boost in performance.
What's getting finished up?
But yeah, like a boost in the gym maybe.
Yeah,
you know, the energy levels have been down, but it could be because my test levels are going down right now. So it's a combination of things, but hoping more sun as it's getting better weather, more steaks, more Piedmontese, more everything, and just start feeling better.
Yeah.
Where can people find you, Natty Professor?
I haven't gone by that name in such a long. I am Natty though still. Anyway, Nsima Inyang on Instagram and YouTube, and Nsima Inyang on TikTok and Twitter.
What is a Natty Professor even? What would he teach? Hey, boys and girls.
I'd like to question where he got the degree though.
Yeah. What college is he?
Harvard.
I'd imagine O'Hearn is like the dean of the school.
Dean of administration.
Yeah.
Dean of administration.
Administration meaning injections.
Dean of injections.
There you go.
Fuck all y'all.
What about Andrew? Where can we find you, Andrew?
You guys can hit me up on Instagram at I am Andrew Z. Please make sure you're following the podcast at Mark Bell's Power Project. That's also on Instagram. AMB Power Project on TikTok and Twitter. And for some weird ass reason, everyone on TikTok, they will come on our page and just comment nice. I don't know where that's coming from.
Nice.
Do you have any idea?
Sounds good.
I think it's a TikTok thing.
I think it's a TikTok thing. Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know. Somebody maybe reshared it, and I have no idea. But somebody had even asked. They're like, "Why does everyone say nice?" I'm like,
"Let's add more to it."
So
nice.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, I guess go on our TikTok and just comment nice. We're on YouTube, Facebook. We're all over the place. Thank you to everybody that's been rating and reviewing the podcast. I'm just going to do one right now from Gunner's Juju. I'm going to say, helps keep me on track. Quote, let's face it, I'm not perfect, especially when it comes to nutrition. Mark and the guys help me get my butt back into gear and focus on getting my health right. I'm constantly finding new approaches to training and diet and finding out what are you guys doing over there? What works best for me. Keep up the great work. Juju, thank you so much, man. Sincerely appreciate that. If you're listening right now, if you want to hear your name and your review read on air, please head over to iTunes right now, drop us a rating and a review, and you could hear your name on air just like Gunner's Juju. Mark, where you be?
At Mark Smilly Bell. Strength is never weakness, weakness never strength. Catch y'all later.
Peace. Dude, that story about Remington trying to reconcile issues with his buddy by giving him pre-workout. I mean, like I said, he's officially one of our favorite gym bros. Anyways, thank you to everybody that's been rating and reviewing the podcast on iTunes. It does a lot for us. We sincerely appreciate it. It's going to be a short one today because I want to get to Remington's music right away. So real quick, thank you, Jules07. That's, Jules, so Jule. 3 S's 07. Jules says, amazing value. Quote, so much value from this podcast. Corey G is the man. Hey, what about Mark Bell? Anyways, Jules, thank you so much for that. It took you, maybe 30 seconds to do that. But in that 30 seconds, you were able to give us like one of the biggest thank yous of all time. If you listening right now, if you would like to hear your name and your review read on air, please head over to iTunes right now, drop us a rating and a review, and you could hear your name on air just like Jules07. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Remington James. We'll catch you guys later. Peace.
I'ma keep it moving, I did this shit on my own. In this house, it ain't a home, I'm just here to get it on. Took a couple people and I put them in position. Probably be here with me if they simply would've listened. Diamond chain of glisten and she tags, say I miss her. Diamond chain of glisten, I'm a rag if I keep sipping. Scales is tipping, weighing out they options. Roof we're missing, flexing and we popping. Tomorrow, new day, bust it down, Blu-rays. If you got that shit to say, please just say it to my face. I got the dope bag and I'm gonna beat the case. Run up on me wrong and you gonna catch his fade. All the shit I did for you, guess it never mattered, Load the clip, cock back and watch it splatter, Look me in the eye, look me in the eye. I ain't have a choice, man, it's do or die. Pop another bottle. I done spent a lot, I made it back on roll. I done made $1 million, I ain't sell my soul. All this time to kill, I'm flying overseas. About 30 bands in these Robin jeans. Bitchin' back, I need know where I'm at. Molly Percocet, see the future when I'm high on that. Fame shit ain't really what it seemed. Got a cup inside a cup,